leg out, not because it may not cover, but the mathematical edge you're getting from taking an 18-point dog to 25, not exactly what you're looking for, nor should you be teasing college at all, Dunaway, so we'll teach you that valuable lesson first and foremost here. But when you look at some of the other legs that you broke down, Arkansas has been one of the sharpest positions we've seen so far this week. This number was in that 6.5 range. Now it's down to 4 painted across the board. The Razorbacks make the change at offensive coordinator Dan Enos out, Kenny Guyton in. They've said the right things about simplifying their playbook, looking to deploy a little bit more tempo. Florida in a flat spot with an early kickoff in Gainesville coming off of the game against Georgia before they'll play Missouri. Would not be shocked if an Arkansas team that has shown their mettle on the road this year goes into the swamp and wins that game outright. Wisconsin, look, is this a team that you feel comfortable winning by margin on the road given what we've seen from them offensively? I know Indiana isn't world beaters by any stretch of the imagination, but they did just play their most complete game of the year last weekend against Penn State. So I think Indiana could be a live underdog in that spot. A&M, one of the sharper pro positions, one that I can't get behind myself, though, because I look at the disparity in offensive concepts between Ole Miss and A&M. I lived through this game last year, had A&M with Connor Wegman. Lane Kiffin doesn't mess around. He's wanted to make a statement against Jimbo in the past, and I think if Ole Miss is able to build a lead here, A&M is going to be hard-pressed to match them score for score. So I respect the money that's coming on the dog there, but you will not get me to the window with an A&M ticket this weekend.
I don't know if we ever told you the story about Dunaway losing his Corolla when he was in college to his bookmaker. Tercel. Yeah. Bookmaker actually came, got keys, cleaned out his CD collection, took his saxophone, basically cleaned the entire apartment out.
Ping golf clubs.
So he is back in, man. I mean, he is with mybookie.ag, but Fuhrman, I told him this when he was asking me a couple of questions. I said, look, if you need another book to like shop lines, I'm your guy. Just send me what you want, and I'll get it put in for you. Wink, wink.
That's what I was going to say, LT. I mean, I don't want to take business away from one of your guys' prominent sponsors, but, I mean, we can come up with something constructive and even offer Dunaway maybe a 15 to 20% rebate. And I imagine with some of these betting tendencies, it would still be profitable for us in the house to take on his action every Saturday.
But I was smoking my fat cigar last week with the UMass money line, though, wasn't I?
Hey, a blind squirrel finds a nut, and even a broken clock is right twice a day, Dunaway.
Hey, Fuhrman, back in the day, the late Jeff Bajaya, God bless his soul, one of our great sponsors, Slice, I used to give him no juice. He was so bad at wagering, and I think Dunaway would be one of those guys. I would wipe the 10%, and we would just go straight up.
We can even go one step further and throw out one of the old perks that a lot of locals used to use. We'll give Dunaway a free half point on every game he wants to bet, too, because who can avoid a free half point when you're taking an 18-point underdog and getting that 18-point dog in Rutgers up to 18.5?
I think back in the day, my bookie did do that. Hey, you can move the line half point any way you want to.
And what Dunaway doesn't realize, it's not that he's that bad. It's the fact that he sprays the board. He's one of those that, man, I've got to play everything here. I'm going to wheel it across parlays, teasers, turnarounds. I'm doing everything.
Hey, it's always the devil in the details. I mean, that's the reality of this business, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, selfish. Real quickly, just give me a game. Give me a game that you're on the fence about, Fuhrman. I will give you the winner right now.
You know what? I don't even want to do this because I don't want to give myself a little bit of unease going into tomorrow if I have a big position on a game. You to tell me you agree with me, and then for me to try and find a way to either buy off the game or figure out how to get off of it live. So I'm not going to do that to myself despite your best intentions.
Okay.
Selfish question for me in the NFL, but it also happens to be the best game of the day in the NFL. So, of course, let's kick it at 8:30 in the morning in Frankfurt, Germany. Kansas City, 2.5-point favorite to Miami. We discussed this game last night. Lance thinks my Dolphins are just flat out the better team. Dunaway says he does. How does Todd Fuhrman feel?
I think if Miami is healthy along the offensive line and you can get Williams and Teron Armstead out there, not only could they be the better team in this game, they may end up being the team to beat in the AFC playoff picture, especially as they get healthier in the defensive backfield. This will be the first time that we'll see Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, and Jalen Ramsey out there. So Vic Fangio loves to have those chess pieces in the back, and this defense has trended up despite some of those score lines we've seen. But in terms of picking a side, you're not going to get rich in this business betting against Patrick Mahomes. coming off a loss. I do like the Dolphins traveling on Monday compared to Kansas City in the middle of the week. But for me, I'll look at the total here. I know it's ticked down a little bit, but I think this could be a little bit more defensive-minded than that number in the low 50s suggests. We have a 3-game sample size of international contests being played with totals of 50 or higher. Guys, all 3 of those games have come in under the total, and they've done so by an average of 11.5 points per game.
I still like what you said there, Fuhrman. And they are healthy up front. They are getting Connor Williams back and Taron Armstead back, according to Mike McDaniel this morning. So that's good for Miami. Fuhrman, thank you very much for the time. Enjoy the games this weekend. We encourage everybody to go listen. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. Take care.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. You guys do the same.
All right, buddy. Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. BetTheBoardPodcast.com is the website.
I'm so sorry.
It's quite all right, Jim.
BetTheBoardPodcast.com, his website. Our friends at Gutter Cap bring you part of the show every day. Gutter Cap, getting that gutter cap one last time.
Yeah, hey, look, leaves are falling all over, and the last thing you want to do, especially after you've worked all week, is get on the roof and clean the gutters out. You call up my man Chris Stewart, you will never have to clean the gutters. They'll come out, clean them one final time. They'll put that patented aluminum cover system over it. It will keep all the debris out. Cap it, don't snap it. You don't want to get on the roof. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. You're no good to the wife or kids. Call Chris Stewart. In business more than 20 years right here in Market. Great dude. Will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. Call him, tell him the next round sent you. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
All right. Big Ten released their schedule for next year. Who will play what with all the new teams coming in. Forrester has it over here. I'll tell you some of the things that sticks out. USC's first game in the Big Ten is going to be at Michigan. Other than that, the rest of them got pretty crappy first games, to be honest with you. UCLA's first game is against Indiana at home. Yuck.
That's your welcome to the Big Ten. I host Indiana.
Yeah, and I mean, how many people will be at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena to see Indiana UCLA?
It's a great basketball game back in the day.
You know, you'll have a couple of RVs from some retired Hoosiers will drive out there.
From out in the air. Washington's first game is against Northwestern at home. Yuck.
And that is bad.
And Oregon's first Big Ten game is going to be on the road against UCLA. That's not Big Ten-ish.
Yeah,
Give me something Big Ten-ish.
Pac-12, yeah.
Yeah, so that's their first games. For USC...
Does that mean we get late-night Big Ten for the first time ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody who complains in moving to the Big 12 or moving to the Big 10, we don't want to play those late games anymore.
Guess what?
You're going to get those.
Yeah. Yep. Good, and we love it.
Yeah, why not? TV people aren't going to get rid of it. By the way, you look at all of that, and then you go down to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship game, December the 7th. I ask you, how long until we play a Western time zone Big Ten Championship game? SoFi, Las Vegas?
I think it's going to be a while. I mean, the power still rests in Ann Arbor and Columbus.
Yeah,
in that conference.
And they kind of want to keep their Midwestern pride.
Yeah.
And they don't want to admit to everybody they sold out. Everybody in college football is selling out.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with Brown. I think it'll be 4 or 5 years, but we'll have a West Coast swing.
Yeah.
Oh, you think so? You think it'll make it out to Vegas or SoFi?
I think it will, but but I think it's going to be a little bit.
But the risk you run, man, you better pray USC or Washington or Oregon is in that thing if you played at SoFi. Can you imagine your conference championship game at SoFi and it's Penn State against
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Or Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ohio State, Michigan, they've played in this game a ton in Indianapolis, but if you're an Ohio State or Michigan fan and you have an opportunity to go at SoFi, L.A., I think it's a shithole. It's got some positives, but it still is a destination city.
It is. Let me ask you this. Do you think there's a chance they ever play it in the Rose Bowl? I mean, that conference has such a history with that stadium, and the Pac-12 teams coming in that have a history.
I think it would be a great call if the Rose Bowl is out of rotation that year for championship.
But even if it is in rotation, it's not always going to get Big Ten, Pac-12, right? So, I mean, this would be a way to maybe throw a bone to the people that are very important to them in the Rose Bowl and play that conference championship game there. And if it happens to be a Pac-12 Big Ten matchup, great. But, I mean, if you got Ohio State, Michigan playing each other in the Rose Bowl for the conference championship.
That's a great point. It's
Yeah.
a great point right there. All right, Big Ten schedule. They did the ACC with 18. I mean, just for the shock factor, they showed up there 17 teams, and then 18 if you factor in the Notre Dame games. Look at that.
We get Cal Miami first week?
That's no dates assigned to those. That's the ACC schedule.
I see SMU and Boston College.
Yeah, SMU, Boston College,
God.
SMU,
Yeah.
Cal.
Jeez.
I mean, And then there's we have the Big 12 one too. Do we have that one? They did theirs this week.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Hey, leave it to me. 969-8100.
Michael said laser vision because I can't see it.
How about that?
I
How boring
think.
is that
Okay,
one?
I'm just going to go from the far top left. Arizona State, and that first one has.
Arizona.
Is it Arizona?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And I don't have Michael's. I
Arizona,
can see far away. I can't see.
No,
up
I can
close.
see Arizona State, BYU, Utah, Colorado.
All right.
Texas Tech.
Those
Yeah, I see
are
that.
some of those schedule releases. We'll get to our headlines when we come back. Monday's headlines before the games are even played. We got that in the next segment and a lot more to do with you guys the rest of the show, including Rockstar's Playhouse in the final hour. It's being brought to you by the people that bring us Lance's Lock every day, our friends at Hemp Hill Services.
Hemp Hill Services, since 1954, the name Alabama has trusted for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090. You can always go online, hemphillservices.com.
Unlocked with Fox Sports' Brock Heward and Lance Taylor weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Give the gift of Daniel Moore art this holiday season with the 2024 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar. This year's calendar features collectors' most beloved Daniel Moore Alabama football moments, from the classic goal line stand to the Saban era 2nd and 26. Special offer for listeners only. Buy 2 calendars and get 1 free with code HOLIDAY at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Back with you on the next round as we get ready for basketball on Monday night. How about that? We all were talking to Andy Kennedy this week about how big their opening game is coming up on Monday night down at Bartow Arena. Each of you have had an opportunity to talk to Andy about just how big this game is. I've been talking to about how Ken Palm calls it the best on-campus game of the opening games next week. Pretty good contest. You excited about basketball, Brownie?
Yeah. I mean, I'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're excited about UAB, about being home again this weekend. Florida Atlantic coming to town, and Rockstar gives us a chance to hear from our friends at Legacy and head coach Trent Dilfer.
Just like a well-executed game plan, financial success takes discipline and strategic decision-making.
That's right, Coach. And just like Coach Dilfer's talking about, the Blazers will try to make those strategic decisions on the field against FAU on Saturday. Legacy wants to help you make a strategic decision with their Engaged checking. You have heard Legacy talk about all the benefits of everyday checking, but with Engaged checking right now, you can earn up to 3% APY on balances up to $15,000 when you meet their monthly qualifications. To see their qualifications and to apply online in minutes, visit their website, legacycreditunion.com. Legacycreditunion.com. Legacy, the official credit union of UAB and a proud supporter of UAB football. APY, by the way, is the annual percentage yield, federally insured by the NCUA, our friends at Legacy. A reminder for all of you, we fall back on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Daylight savings time ends. That never excites either one of you, right?
It's awful.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think I saw that.
Nobody likes it.
I think I saw Senator Tuberville is introducing a bill in the Senate called I can't remember what it was called, but it is to reverse this.
To make it
just keep the time year round.
Yeah, it was fun when you were like in college or you were really active going to bars because you'd have that night where, last call's 2:00 and they're like, not tonight, it's not.
Not tonight, it's not.
I hate it, man. I hate sacrificing afternoon sunshine for morning sunshine.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Yep.
I mean, it really is.
Bradley and UAB Monday night in basketball, Morehead State and Alabama Monday night and Tuesday, Auburn and Baylor up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at the Pentagon is where they play that tip-off. That's a big one, Auburn and Baylor right there as basketball season starts next week. All right, time for our Monday headlines today. It's our Spotlight today, and it's brought to you by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about the makeover in your bathroom after Rockstar hits the big button.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
So when my wife and I bought our house, we weren't huge fans of the bathroom. Scotty is showing it to you right now. It was white, very bright colors. It was dated, honestly. And it was functional, though, right? So we just dealt with it, and my wife is finally like, I want it to look like the way we want it to look. So she scoured the internet, and she found my man, Brad Bell, and we shared our vision with him. We wanted updated Brad, and we want it in the darker tones. And Brad said, hey, if that's what you want, I can make it happen. And boy, did he. My wife loved it. She has told so many people about Brad, and I'm happy to tell you about Brad as well. In fact, Lance saw it, and he's like, man, I need my bathroom redone. Just to show you Brad's not sold on only one way of doing it, some cookie cutter deal. Lance's was dark. He wanted it to go to lighter, and that's exactly what Brad did, as Scott shows you there. If you want Brad to do your master bath, your kitchen, and listen, when you go to sell your home, you'll make your money back most on a master bath and a kitchen redo. It's the two most important houses in the home, or most important rooms in the house. Let Brad do those for you. That's what he masters in, the master bath and the kitchen. Here is his number, 205-422-1758. I always say, if you miss anything, reach out to me. We had a member of the audience do that this week, and he called Brad just the other day. Brad told me 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758. Anywhere in Alabama, he can help you out.
All right, LT, start us off with the headline, man.
Yeah, I had kind of forgotten about this, so I just threw it together in break. So
I saw you writing it.
Yeah, so it's a little cheesy, but we'll roll with it.
Well, we like cheese.
Hey,
this whole segment's cheesy.
This is the Tuscaloosa News.
Okay.
Oh,
Tuscaloosa
no.
News.
Hometown
Shout out
paper?
Cecil. Pour one out for him.
Yeah, pour one out for Cecil Hurt.
Nasty neighbors roll into Bryant Denny and still title hopes from Tide.
Those nasty neighbors. Yes, he's a good receiver.
Yeah, those
Yes.
nasty
A
neighbors.
little cheesy there,
Yeah,
but
I
hey,
like
we got
it,
it
though.
done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you thought it was going to be one-sided, it could be like a blowout, like a leaf blower, or a nasty neighbor. But
Nasty
you don't think it's going to be
neighbors.
one-sided.
I do think it comes down to a final possession. I really do.
look at that.
Did last year.
So do I.
Good entertaining game.
I'll go next because mine was not very good this week.
Oh, wow.
Just
man.
go in order every week.
Understood.
All right, we got this is from the Oklahoma Statement. Stone cold carnage for Oklahoma. Local sheriff goes rogue.
The Boz.
Mullet time, who wore it better?
Hey, it's really good based on the back and forth between those two this week. Did you guys ever see, I know Rocky saw it, did you guys ever see the movie, the 1988 or 89 classic Stone Cold with Lance Henriksen and Brian Bosworth?
I saw it. I rented it on VHS from Del Champs.
I saw it. I was with me and Chris Callies went to see it at the theater. Did you guys ever see it?
I have never seen that movie. No, Boz is a good actor as a sheriff. Was he a good actor then?
Oh, incredible. I don't know why he didn't win an Academy Award. He jumps a motorcycle out of the state building.
Wears a leather jacket, no shirt.
Heck
And he
yeah.
has like a pet Komodo dragon.
I never
hooks up with the hot biker chick that's in the criminal biker gang.
I had forgotten all about Del Champs as well.
Yes.
You got videos for one night.
Yeah. Did Food World buy Del Champs?
No, I can't remember. Del Champs they introduced the computer. They had a big computer on it was a touch screen. It was awful on the top of your shopping cart, and you would type in, "Where is lettuce?"
It's produce. Okay.
All right. You would do that. Cereal. Cereal aisle 3. Okay. Then it didn't take off. So who's next?
And I forget that you couldn't, you rented movies back at grocery stores.
Oh, yeah. And there was very little panic.
If it was a phenomenal film, if it was a go-getter,
two of them.
They had 4 copies.
Yeah. The generations today will not know the sheer panic of knowing the movie was due back by 4 and you have not rewound it
Well,
yet.
and the sheer panic of walking in and they just released, I don't know, throw out Platoon and the entire wall has got 50 covers.
And you're pulling back every one of them?
You know what? I never see Redbox is still there at checkout in a lot of grocery stores. I've never seen somebody use Redbox.
Me either.
A buddy of mine,
Tyler used one last week. It's always Tyler.
Okay.
Tyler, you got a DVD?
They got anime in Redbox?
Tyler, man, you should have been born back in the 80s, man.
I love Tyler.
I said Tyler, he actually said that I think I could drive an RV. Yeah. And so I told somebody that, and they were like, anime Tyler's going to drive the RV?
Heck yeah.
Hey,
just drove a dump truck.
Not to give out too much of Tyler's business, when he was unpaid intern, he was oftentimes one of the first ones here. When he was still living at home,
he beat you here?
Usually one of the first ones here. He now has his own place.
That's right.
His own place with his own furniture, and now arrives later than and basically lives down the street.
Oh, wow.
He arrives later.
Tyler, you got your first shot.
Than he ever has.
Hey, nobody keeps score of when people show up more than
Well, I was going to
$1.
ask you, was it possible it was like a Rudy situation where he was actually living here and like you saw it and you were the groundskeeper that put the key back in the back room chair for him?
I just really thought, man, Tyler was like clockwork. I'd hear somebody walking in. It was always Tyler. Now I never know who's walking in. Tyler's not as punctual anymore.
Wow.
His life. Our little boy's growing up, man. Wow. Tyler's got a nightlife going on, I think.
Let's go to the next headline.
Oh, this is me, the state newspaper in Columbia, South Carolina. We got cock confusion.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the refs accidentally give Jacksonville State 2 overtime possessions.
That's one of the worst things you can have is cock confusion.
Oh, I know. And JSU wins by 13 in overtime. You don't see that happen very often, but they accidentally get 2 overtime possessions. South Carolina didn't get their possession in overtime. A lot of cock confusion in that game, my friend.
I have a running theme with yours every week lately.
What? The refs getting confused?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of cock. Yeah. I'll never forget
Battle of the Cocks, Jim.
96, Arizona State, Jake Plummer go undefeated all the way to the Rose Bowl. They covered every game, and we had UCLA plus, I think they were getting like 8.5, or maybe it was 11.5. And they won by 13 in overtime. They scored the touchdown, then they pick six. Yeah.
Well, Jack State's going to get 2 overtime possessions, and South Carolina is not going to get one because they confused the Gamecocks. The cock confusion there by the refs. So you don't see that happen every day. Weird finish. Also on page 2, ESPN's Pat McAfee's challenged an Alabama media member to a fight to death to settle a beef.
Yeah, I've gotten old. I think I'd have to shoot him.
Yeah.
He's pretty active.
And Taylor Swift let the cat out of the bag. Her NFL player boyfriend has always wanted to be around.
Oh, no.
Did you know that?
I don't want him.
Well, you would take him.
I don't want him.
You wouldn't want Travis Kelce?
I'll stay with
boyfriend.
a poor man's Travis Kelce. He's like a Travis Kelce. They used to have a beer called Pearl Light.
Yeah.
The Bud Light to the Pearl Light is my Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
But I'd rather stomach him than
her NFL player boyfriend wants to be a Ram, so I don't know how that's going to turn out one day.
I think she sold out SoFi Stadiums more times than the Rams have.
Oh, probably
true, yes.
But not, she's no Zendaya, though.
Yeah, she is no Zendaya. He's not going to let that go, Lunsford. All right, Dunaway Digest. We'll start to the left first. Howard's Rock replaced by Tyler from Spartanburg.
You got to touch him on the way out.
A new tradition started Saturday as Dabo and his Tigers touched Tyler from Spartanburg's head before taking the field.
I love it. Just trip on the way down the hill, though.
Harbaugh what happened to the headline? Oh, he stole the signs part of it. Harbaugh resigns.
Wow.
Resigns. Michigan
I see him hold the signs.
Damn,
part.
you got here early today.
Yeah. Well before Tyler.
And LSU caught in Milrow. Hit from both sides of the traffic. See if you say it really fast in Southern. LSU caught in the middle of the road. Milrow. It hit.
I love when you got to explain these twice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. See, Tyler called the talk show this week.
Yeah,
He's from
I got it.
Spartanburg.
That was your best one. Yeah.
So do you think this will be a part of both Fox's pregame and ESPN's pregame?
What, Tyler from Spartanburg?
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
And I just wonder, and I know Dabo is a bullish guy. By the way, I like Clemson tomorrow. I do. Dabo's a bullish guy. How long will it be before he backpedals and invites Tyler to one of the games?
Happen. It'll happen.
I think it will too.
He'll win. He'll beat Notre Dame, and they'll set this up for Tyler to come in. Tyler from Spartanburg, who I'm sure will be early, unlike our Tyler.
Tyler is still very early, just not as early as he used to be.
I think Tyler from Spartanburg, they'll do a little kiss and make up. He'll come to the coaches show. He may even do a segment with Dabo on the coaches show.
It's
only if they win, though.
Unfortunate for Tyler because it's one of those, it doesn't seem like he wants to like Dabo, but when you get put in that situation, then you start liking him.
Yeah. Well, that's why Dabo will do it. It's pretty good in the PR game.
Oh, yeah.
Johnston RV is providing our RV tomorrow, and our pregame show at 9 a.m. Central will happen from this RV. It looks like Watt Forrester before Brandy tells us about Johnston RV.
Look at that thing.
That is a good-looking ride.
That is a honey right there,
That is
Lance.
the next round ride tomorrow for our pregame show. And then Brown and I will get kicked off the RV, and LT will take it over with his ex-brother-in-law and 10 women from California.
One of which is his girlfriend. I think you need to point that out.
Yeah. One of them is his girlfriend.
Yeah,
it's her
friends.
9 friends from California.
She invited who she wanted to invite.
Hey, but look at this. I mean, how badass is that? And I think I've got 3 TVs.
By the way, I grew up in a trailer. That is bigger than the trailer I grew up in.
And a lot nicer, right?
And a lot nicer, yes.
He's here to tow.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. But, you brought this up. I think there's a lot of RV people that are territorial. And so I'm going to be parking in one of these RV lots. And they're going to be like, what is going on here?
You got to roll in when y'all rolling into park.
Please be
We got glow sticks.
Please be a retired couple next to you. Please.
You got to have the windows down. You got to be playing something from Tupac rolling in.
Oh, I've already got playlists down and back ready.
They're 100% going to think you're LSU fans.
Yeah.
100%.
We got to come up with a good backstory, right? Retired, sold a bunch of crypto before it bottomed out.
You got to tell them you sold something that they would understand. They will not understand crypto or Zendaya.
Baby, these people next to us are smoking crypto.
They sold Dell Champs.
Johnston RV Center.
It's good, Dell Champs.
Johnston RV
You couldn't
Center.
afford that, selling Dell Champs.
Johnston RV Center is providing Lance's ride to Tuscaloosa, and they just got back from the Forest River Expo. And that's where they go see the latest travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhome, all the floor plans. And they say, this is what our people will like. So they're going to start showing up, guys. And they got to make room for it. So the Call of Fall campaign, great savings on many different lines that will get you out camping this fall from the Forest River Expo. $50,000 more than that discounted on travel trailers. $179 a month with approved credit for travel trailers. The $50,000 off fifth wheels. You can get great discounts right now. And listen, Veterans Day is just around the corner, and every day they respect the veterans there at Johnston RV Center just like we do. You are the people that made the United States of America the greatest country in the universe, no questions asked about it. And they offer you a great discount there, whether you're active duty or retired military, at Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Rockstar's Playhouse coming up just after 11 o'clock today. LT's got trash. We'll make our picks at the end of the show. We'll run through some of the great sound leading into the big games coming up for Week 10 of the college football season in the next segment. A couple of other things that are going on. Some of you mentioned earlier about Victor Wembanyama. Wemby last night, 38 points as San Antonio beat Phoenix. He looked unreal last night.
I mean, look, he did put the NBA on notice. He completely dominated the fourth quarter. And if you look at Wembanyama, he is leading all NBA players right now in fourth quarter shooting percentage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he's shooting like 78% in the fourth quarter. This guy already is averaging 20 and 8. And a lot of people there will be a learning curve, the physicality, he's 7'5", but is he going to be strong enough to at least early on be able to make a difference? And I think the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah. Who was it?
First time I ever saw him was 2 years ago. Jace, one of my boys, brought me these clips. He's like, you got to see this guy overseas.
Was it you or was it Reed when he was in here earlier that said when he puts on some weight, he's going to be really unstoppable?
I said it. When he first got drafted.
Yeah.
Once he puts about 25 pounds on this frame, and he should still be able to move like he does right now. I mean, the wingspan is incredible. It's something we've never seen before. And the skill set to couple that, I mean, this guy, as long as he stays healthy, in San Antonio, I hate this organization, but they have struck gold again.
They've struck gold again with another big guy. And then in the college football world, last week we saw Georgia dominate Florida in the cocktail party. They're about to start building. I guess they're really going to build this in Jacksonville, that multi-billion-dollar stadium. And so the cocktail party is going to be on the road for 2 years, but according to reports, they're not going to go on campus. It looks like 2026 will be Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Interesting.
And then 2027 will be either Camping World in Orlando or Raymond James in Tampa. And they will let the different sports agencies put on the event to where they still get the big payout that they normally get at the cocktail party.
I mean, it's interesting. They're not, I guess the payout is the reason they're not going on campus.
That is the reason.
Yeah. Because last time this happened, they played those two on campus. And Florida, I think, whipped them both.
What was that, 94, 95, something like that? 95, 96?
Somewhere around there is when the Jags were coming into the league, obviously.
Yeah, I thought it was a little after that. But
I mean, that was when Spurrier had Florida kicking, and they put a pretty good whipping on Georgia between the hedges there. So I don't know. I guess they are committed to keeping this game off campus long term. I tell you what, I am to the point with that game, and I discovered this past weekend.
Such a boring game.
That when the SEC has to make scheduling decisions, if that one gets sacrificed, it's not a big deal to me.
Florida?
Yeah, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah. I bet it is to them, though.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But I just think in the broader, give me when that game has actually mattered and when it's been a good game.
Yeah, but I think for those fan bases.
Oh, it means a lot to the fan bases. But there are going to be some fan bases. They're going to have to give up some sacred cows that mean a lot to them.
Yeah, but I think that's number one on both their list.
Yeah, Georgia, Auburn.
I think
Georgia, Florida, probably.
No, I think Georgia, Florida probably is. But, listen, there are going to be some schools that have to give up some sacred cows for the betterment of the SEC. And if that's one that has to go, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I know I am. Troy says, you make enough freaking money. Play the games on campus.
I kind of agree.
I agree. They should be a cool novelty, these neutral site places. Yeah. I just don't get into it.
We'll get into some more of the actual games on the field coming up. Don't forget the best tequila in the world to be part of the trip down to Tuscaloosa tomorrow, the non-driving part of that. Our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila, made with 100% pure agave. I can't wait till LT introduces the California girls to our favorite tequila tomorrow. Multi-age tequila. They use the wood barrels from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. The result is a pleasant contrast in this crystal clear tequila. Check it out. It's Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459 exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
If you're from here, you know the best time of golf in Alabama is the fall. That means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Montgomery or Birmingham. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Hydro Life question of the day. More total yards tomorrow from scrimmage. Jackson Dart against Texas A&M. KJ Jefferson against Florida.
KJ Jefferson against Florida.
Oh, see, I thought it was you. That's a dumb question, Dunaway. It's going to be Jackson Dart.
Well, I mean, Texas A&M's good defense.
That's what I thought, too.
Yeah. And you just gave us the numbers where Jackson Dart, the emphasis offensively has been about Quinshon Judkins now that he's healthy. So, and KJ Jefferson, man, I'm pulling for the kid. It's been a rough year for those guys.
Rough year for Arkansas so far. Interesting games tomorrow in the SEC. We'll hear more on Alabama LSU after you tell us about Hydro Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. I actually reached out to Lacey last night about possibly coming in studio today. We're going to do it next week. But look, if you can't make it to Hydro Live, guess what? They can send a nurse to your place of business or home. For more information at hydrolifetherapy.com. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at hydrolifetherapy.com. Make sure you mention Next Round at checkout, and you're going to save 20% off any of their great services. Again, for more information, hydrolifetherapy.com.
All right, Nick Saban last night, hey coach from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Brad Nessler in the seat there next to Coach Saban from the CBS broadcast. Coach Saban talking about why this team is so much fun to coach. Here's Nick Saban.
I get the sense that you really like this team because you get to coach them and teach them week in and week out to get better, and they're getting better.
Yeah, I think that you probably heard me say this before, but sometimes when you have really high expectations, which we've had a lot of high expectations for a lot of our teams around here, is you get disappointed really easily because you have these high standards for everything that you want to do. And, this team has been so fun because it's so challenging, and the very things that I talked to Pee Wee about, teaching them, having them get better, how they kind of respect each other and how they respect the coaches because they see themselves getting better.
Right.
So they're positive and excited and created a really good opportunity for themselves here now, in this game. So that makes it fun. And they don't want to disappoint us. And they don't want to disappoint you because they respect what you're doing to try to help them. So, that really, really makes it fun. When everybody has these high expectations and, it really gets hard. It's one thing to get to the top. It's another thing to stay on top.
Absolutely.
And it's a completely different mindset. And so getting this team to climb the mountain has been really challenging and a lot of fun.
You know, it's the third time in 2 weeks we've heard premier coaches use expectations in kind of a negative light. You heard it from Lincoln Riley. You heard it from Dabo Swinney. You've now heard it from Nick Saban. And look, I get that you can't be perfect, and perfection is what the expectation is. But when we're dealing with this kind of money and this kind of brand, that's what you expect. I mean, I'll give you an example. When you went to see Taylor Swift with your daughter, you expected a great show, a great product.
I did. And how many shows has she done in this Eras tour? But
a million.
everybody spent a boatload of money, and they expect it to be the best one.
But I have not heard one person say the show wasn't great.
Yeah.
So she is making sure that it's great. Look, it's impossible for everyone to win a national championship. But, you know, to me, you know, USC could end up winning the rest of their games, go 10-2. It's just not a good product, though.
But if you got 14 teams in the SEC, and we'll say, I mean, I'll go 11, maybe even 12, expect a certain amount of outcome. Mathematically, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out. Every year, there's going to be a huge chunk of them disappointed.
Yeah, but what I want to see, and I don't know about you, I want to see the team get better. The team at least be competitive. And that's another thing about Arkansas. Look, it hasn't been good, but they've been competitive. They've been in every game. What bothers me is when you get a Clemson that drops off as much as they do, and when you get a USC in year 2. Like Nick Saban, I think, is doing a hell of a job.
He is, but I think if Nick Saban, he will never in a million years say this publicly, and probably not even privately. But I think Nick Saban in his heart of hearts knows the expectations are on this team, this Alabama team, this 2023 Alabama team, because they're coached by Nick Saban.
That's right.
He's the reason they're facing these expectations. And that may not be fair to this team. This team may not be as talented as the 20, pick any of them, the 2020 team, the 2017 team, the 2012 team. This team may not be as talented, but they're faced with those expectations because he's their head coach.
But you read it every week, Brown. You're exactly right. You read it every week, people that pick games. It's like, you know, LSU's got this, or, you know, Texas has this. Yep. But I can't go against Nick Saban.
Alabama's got Nick Saban.
I can't go against Nick Saban.
And that's probably a pretty heavy burden that Saban, not a heavy burden, but it is a burden that Saban carries, is that, you know, I'm responsible for this team's expectations, and they're not gonna lash out at Nick Saban. They'll lash out a little bit, but Nick Saban's got his spot reserved, right? They'll get upset with Jalen Milroe, and they'll get upset with Jace McClellan, and they'll get upset with Kool-Aid McKinstry because of those expectations.
This man turned 72 this week, and the demeanor has changed a little bit over the years, which you kind of expect that with most people. But the thing is, much like Taylor Swift, to use another analogy, his product is always good. Like, we're in November, and they are still very much. I mean, they're in charge of. I mean, their destiny. They control it right now. If they win out, they win a national championship.
And if they beat LSU, LT, Kentucky's a tremendously tough game for this Alabama team the next week.
I think it's a yucky tough game, but I still think they win that game.
No, but it's a tough game. Auburn will be a tough game for this team. But if they beat LSU, everyone will instantly, all the fans will instantly start saying, "Oh boy, if we beat Georgia, we're going to be back in the playoffs."
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
It will become
right over Kentucky and Auburn.
It will become mentally a one-game playoff situation for Alabama, and and jumping ahead to that, if that did happen, I think Georgia. The more people I talk to are not going to give them the benefit of the doubt of winning back-to-back national championships and having, at that point, a 30-game win streak.
Yeah. By the way,
Georgia probably would be out of the college football playoff.
I think they would be.
Yeah.
For those that you may not have noticed it in the clip that Scott and Rockstar played there, but Nick Saban, his right eye had blood in it.
I did notice that.
The doctors told him he busted a blood vessel yelling. So for those that think Saban has dialed it back in his old age, he busted a blood vessel in his eye, burst a blood vessel in his eye by yelling too much at his team.
Wow, I've never done that. I've heard of people I remember when COVID first became a thing, there was a bartender that we knew, and she threw up so much he busted the blood vessel.
That's what the doctors ask him. They're like, "Have you had a cough lately?" Nope. You've been sneezing a lot? Nope. You've been yelling a lot? Well, yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
You burst it yelling.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only other way you could have done it.
Hell yeah.
Hey, does he win national coach? If they were to win every game, and I think they lose this weekend and drop 2 in the regular season again.
But if they win the national championship,
you think he's the coach of the year?
National coach of the year. Yep.
It normally goes to a Sonny Dykes type coach. Is there that guy out there this year? The coach you expect nothing of that has done something?
Kalen DeBoer's probably your guy right now.
Yeah.
Mike Norvell.
Could be Lanning in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we all know that if this Alabama team wins the national championship,
well,
he has done a heck of a job coaching.
I hand it to a guy this weekend if he wins a game. I go on and give it to him.
Oh, if he beats LSU, you just give him the trophy?
No, I'm saying if Eli Drinkwitz beats Georgia, and they go to 8-1, they're all of a sudden a top 10 team.
Yeah, then it is
They're
over.
in their control to win. They go on and give it to him. I don't care what happens the rest of the year.
Yeah. Here's Nick Saban from practice on Wednesday, talking about how you deal with a Harold Perkins, one of those Lawrence Taylor types on the other side.
What is the challenge of simulating what he does from a scout team defense perspective, and then on the offensive end, being able to identify him?
Well, I don't think you can simulate it. I just, players got to watch the film. If we had somebody that could play like him, they'd be playing. So they wouldn't be on the scout team. And so
that's a great point.
We do the best we can, and I think our guys do a really good job, both sides of the ball, trying to give a good look, to the defensive players. But, it's hard to simulate. It's hard to be that deep on your team and be able to simulate. Our players need to understand and respect, why do we go good on good? It's to help each other get better, because you're going to play against a good player on Saturday. You get a chance to play against a good player in practice. Challenge yourself to do things the right way, and I think it helps you get better. But we don't have somebody here on the scout team that can simulate what number 4 does, because the guy's a phenomenal player.
Great respect for him. Great respect for our friends at the Pants Store. If you're heading to the game tomorrow, you want to be dressed in the best game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter & Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor & Mick. Also, ladies, look no further for your game day needs than skirts, rompers, clear bags, and booties. You get those as well. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. 6 great locations in Auburn, in Crestline, in Hoover, in Huntsville, in Leeds, and in Tuscaloosa. Again, pantstore.com. And LT, also by our friends at Odie's. Trivia on Friday nights, but that new Homewood location, a Wednesday night for trivia, but a new Homewood location, great place to swing by and watch the games.
Yeah, look, great place to watch games. Also live music every Friday and Saturday, both locations, the newest Homewood, the corner right there of Broadway and Oxmoor, the original location, Crestline Village, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Go pull one out early for the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend. Go check it out. Will Haver, that great staff, Odie's Tavern.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com. As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of Pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, always brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. We saw Sterling last night. He came out to our Bud Light game night, and we said hi to Sterling, and we'll be down to see Sterling for a little tailgate food this weekend. You got the hand-cut chicken fingers, the cooked-to-order, deep-fried southern fried chicken. I'm a big two-breast side guy. And then, of course, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's our friends at Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com. And as always, final hour of the show, a little Bud Light.
Little Bud Light, yeah.
Here we go.
Always fun.
Getting ready to go. It'll be packed up on LT's RV as he heads down to the big game tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. More on that. If you'll notice, guys, you have a script in front of you.
I do. What is this, Jimmy D?
Rockstar's Playhouse in about 10 minutes. And we have speaking roles in this week's Playhouse.
So
we'll go by. When we get on, we'll go by.
Okay, so I'll know what this is?
I'll explain to you, yeah.
Okay, we'll rotate through these questions.
Yeah, I wish Pat McAfee was here.
You do?
Yeah.
He's in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
If you missed it earlier this week, LT dressed up as Pat McAfee.
Somebody needs to get him some sunblock.
He is a little
Boy,
crimson.
he is a little red.
He's crimson already.
Yeah. Hey, one small storyline from this Alabama LSU game.
What is it?
This will be potentially the last ever. I can't 100% say that because of the potential of on-campus playoff games and their involvement, but potentially the last ever CBS game from Tuscaloosa. And I think most Bama fans are happy to see this go, and maybe Auburn fans too.
Just one more game left is Chattanooga, right?
Yeah, that's the last home game, and then the Iron Bowl will be on CBS, but it'll be in Auburn. I think Alabama fans or it should be on CBS, normally is, are happy to see this go. And a lot of people in the SEC are happy to see this go. I don't know how. I mean, obviously Nick Saban likes Brad Nestle. He was sitting on set with him last night. I don't know how the Alabama people feel.
And I saw the clip from Hey Coach last night. He raved about he doesn't think his program or the SEC would be where it is without the partnership with CBS, was the quote.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, that jingle, the CBS jingle, you're sitting at your house, doesn't matter what the stadium is. There's a little sadness to this. And I brought this up on our pregame last week that I was watching the final USC game on the Pac-12 network. Thank God.
Yeah.
But I think there is a little sadness with the CBS just because it was such a great relationship for so many years.
It's a broken relationship, though, or it has been a broken relationship with the SEC. That it has not been the best relationship down the stretch here.
But I do think CBS,
money reasons.
Well,
I agree with you. I think CBS has helped the SEC brand.
It has, and this year it has gotten more broken between them and CBS. I think the SEC office is happy to see this go, and I think most Alabama people don't like Gary Danielson. I mean, we cut it any way we want.
They don't.
Fans in the SEC do not like Gary Danielson. They're happy to see this go.
But one thing that was always good was you knew the biggest game of the week was always 2:30, and you knew where it was going to be.
That is right.
Whether you like the announcers or not. And then people say they love the night games, right? Well, get ready. If Alabama stays good, you're going to get a dose of 6:30 either on main ESPN or on ABC every prime time.
ESPN ABC is itching to put that best SEC game in prime time. They've not been able to do that consistently because they didn't have the contract to do it.
And not every fan loves the night game.
No.
A lot of fans
LSU does.
Thought 2:30 was a good time for a big game because it's plenty of time to tailgate, go drink your Bud Lights.
Yep.
And then you go in for the 2:30 game, and then afterwards you can get a nice dinner and make it home and maybe watch some more football.
As a fan, again, I don't go to a lot of games anymore. You don't go to any.
I'm going to the Iron Bowl, Lance.
This will be my third this year, the most I've done in probably a decade. But the first two, Auburn, Georgia, 2:30, Alabama, Tennessee, 2:30. As a consumer, if I'm going to the game, I want 2:30 because a 7 o'clock game, especially a big game, complete mess. And you really don't get home till 1 or 2 in the morning if you stay for the entirety of the game.
But let me warn you on one thing. When ABC and ESPN do get the SEC games, all of them, they're not just going to sit around and sacrifice that 11 a.m. window to Fox every week.
No.
You're going to get good SEC games at 11 a.m.
In fact, I think the second biggest game of the week will be 11 a.m.
It would not
the
surprise
biggest game
me.
will be prime time, 6:30 ABC is my bet. 11 a.m. straight out of game day will be Brown, it wouldn't surprise me if they made it the biggest game some days.
I think some days it will be. So you're going to, as an SEC fan, the Big Ten fans love 11 a.m. kicks. SEC fans hate them. You better get used to them because they are not going to lose that to Fox just because, for no good reason.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. For me, it's 2:37, then 11.
Right? I agree completely.
You give me free tickets to 11 o'clock game, no thank you. I don't care.
We've been conditioned over the years to think in the southern part of the world, the 11 o'clock was the suck game.
That's right. It used to be the Jefferson Pilot game, but you better be okay with some of your big games being at 11 a.m., even in Tiger Stadium, because they are not just going to sacrifice that window to Fox.
Yeah, if I could go to bed at 9 p.m. consistently on a Friday night, I could stomach an 11 o'clock. But just getting up, just all shaky still.
If you're paying attention, Brown is a 40-year-old living in a 70-year-old's body. Doesn't go to games. This guy is not in his 40s, and he is living the 20-year-old lifestyle, right?
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that, even my kids come over on Friday nights, and, I'll stay up till 2 in the morning watching a movie with them. And the last thing I want to do, I get up and we do our pregame show at 9 a.m. every Saturday morning. I'm a little sluggish in that, but having to get on the road and go hang out before a game and tailgate, I think it's nearly impossible for an 11 o'clock to do it right.
One more big game before we get to Rockstar's Playhouse is Missouri and Georgia. You'll hear from the coaches after LT tells us about the wonderful folks at Michelson Laser Vision.
I wanted to remind people, we've got a pretty cool thing coming up from Michelson. So how many days till the end of the year? Can you guys help me out here?
What is today?
We're going to do math?
27 more this month and 31. That's, by my math, 58. 57, 58, something like that.
58 sounds good.
Okay, so if you've been procrastinating, thinking about getting LASIK done.
100 days to the Super Bowl.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is.
Where did
absolutely.
you see that?
Adam Schefter this morning. 100 days to the Super Bowl.
Brown's a Dolphins fan.
That's right. I'm paying attention now.
He thinks he's in the Super Bowl.
I am. I'm marking my calendar, Jim.
So we've got some special pricing from our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Now is the time to do this. If you've thought about LASIK, I got it done 20 years ago. I've still got 2015 vision, better than 2020. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. Dr. Jen Michelson, make the call, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. They're going to schedule you a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose. If you get the procedure, if you're seen and get the procedure done by 12/31, by New Year's Eve, you are going to get a special deal from the next round. Just make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 205-969-8100. Now is the time to do it. If you've always thought about LASIK and you haven't done it yet, at least get the consultation. It's absolutely free. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
You know what Pat McAfee's going to learn today? In the Deep South, just because the weather cools off doesn't mean you can't still get scorched by the sun, even in November.
He is outside, for those that don't know, on TV3 here, doing his show from Tuscaloosa on the turf at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And he is already a certain shade of crimson.
Yes.
And he's early into his show here. Eli Drinkwitz, biggest game in his career so far?
Yes. Yeah, he's got a chance to get the inside path to Atlanta.
Yeah, and here's the cool thing. I don't think there's Missouri fans that believe they're going to win this game. So it's even in a loss, he's still in a good spot.
Here's Eli Drinkwitz talking about just the noise around this contest.
I don't think you can ignore anything this day and age because that's just like putting your head in the sand. But, I talked to him really on Tuesday of last week about, irregardless, after the game, it's not anything that we can control, but there's going to be two different narratives. The narrative is going to be if we lost, the season's over and there's nothing left to play for because of what was at stake in the game, which we know is not true. And if we win, we're going to be assumed that we're going to win the East, which is not true because we still have 3 games left versus SEC opponents. And so irregardless of the outcome of the game, the job of the media and social media is to create narratives. Our job is to ignore them and try to be 1-0. And, what's at stake at this game is no different than what was at stake when we played at Vandy, at Kentucky, at home versus South Carolina. If you don't play well in those games or you lose those games, then you lose any other opportunities. So to try to say that this one is bigger than those, I think is not what 1-0 means.
Let's get to the point here where we just call BS here. I mean, you cannot sit there and sell it to me like it's just as important as Vandy or Kentucky or just like that.
No, this would be a moment in Missouri football history, and they've had some pretty good moments, believe it or not. I mean, they've played for the SEC championship twice. I'll say this, for the overwhelmed beach dad, that guy has done a really good job. And he's done a good job in the portal. He's done a good job with recruiting. I think he has become a respected coach amongst his peers.
New this week, though, for you is that Georgia is going to finish the regular season unbeaten. That is not something you believed until just recently.
I think Carson Beck is the second best quarterback in the SEC. And I think
Jaden Daniels of LSU.
I think Carson Beck is the real deal. I think when it's all said and done, as good as Stetson was, and some people had him in the conversation as one of the best 2 or 3 Georgia Bulldogs of all time. I think Carson Beck's going to go down as a better Georgia quarterback.
Here is the problem for Missouri. If they win this game and they've got the inside path to Atlanta, they got Tennessee at home next week, which would be a monumentally difficult game.
It really would be.
Coming off a win in Athens, I don't know how they would win it, honestly.
And they still have another tough game, too.
Florida at home and then at Arkansas.
And Arkansas. They could lose any of those games.
Yeah, but they
absolutely could.
They could win them all but Georgia. And can you imagine if that team went 10-2?
Oh, that's a huge step forward.
Great year.
Now, would they be in the conversation in a 12-team playoff at 10-2?
Yes, absolutely.
With only losses to
LSU and Georgia.
And that one, they're kicking their ass for losing that one.
Yep.
But 12-team playoff?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They would be in a hunt. I don't know that they would absolutely be in.
Would there not being a name brand? Probably not. But, yeah, absolutely. But just think, this is not even the biggest game in Missouri. I mean, it is for Eli, but not for Missouri.
Oh,
since
not
they've been
at all.
In the SEC.
No.
They played for 2 SEC
That's
championships.
Right. Yeah. And even before then, Pinkel had them in a game where if they win it, they play for the national championship in the Big 12.
Yep.
They were 10-point underdogs in that game. So Lance is like at Oklahoma.
That was for the Big 12 to play for a national championship. And then when they were playing Auburn in the SEC championship, if they'd won that one, they'd have played for a national championship.
Yeah, you think about how many teams has Missouri over the last 20, 25 years had more success than these teams in the SEC. They've had more success in Mississippi State. They've had more success in Ole Miss.
A&M. I mean, they came in at the same time as A&M, but they've had more success.
I mean, it's just hard to believe because when Missouri came in, we were like, A&M could be a problem.
Yep.
And we were like, Missouri is not a fit. This team is going to be – they're going to be the Vanderbilt.
Well, honestly, they caught a break. They didn't like it being shoved into the East. But they caught a break getting in the East.
Massive break.
That was a huge break for them. A&M got the tougher draw having to play in the West.
You always rain on people's parade, Brown. Come on.
No, but think about it. They never make a championship game because when they played Auburn, that was the best Missouri team I've ever seen.
That's right, and Auburn whipped
But
them.
Auburn was undefeated.
Yep.
And then the year after, they snuck in because the East was so bad, and Alabama completely curb stomped them.
Yeah, so, I mean, they would have been fighting Alabama, LSU, and the good Auburn teams.
Yeah. Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing brings us Rockstar's Playhouse every week, a chance for Rockstar to put on his acting skills or his comedic skills and sometimes his musical skills. And it's brought to you by Greg from Pell City. Look him up on Facebook for that free no-cost roof inspection, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. That's right, a free no-cost roof inspection, no obligation, 205-542-3531. It's Rockstar's Playhouse.
Rockstar's Playhouse, it's a Rockstar's Playhouse, it's a Rockstar's Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar's Playhouse, it's a Rockstar's Playhouse, it's a Rockstar's Playhouse, come out and play.
Let's have some fun. Oh, that sounds swell.
Gentlemen, my name is Cade Chevelle.
Cade Chevelle?
Hello,
Cade Chevelle.
Damn, I've never heard of you.
I'm a coaching etiquette expert.
Coaching etiquette?
Oh, wow.
Coaching expert.
Oh, a coaching etiquette
I
expert.
assist coaches on what to say to you media type folks.
Okay.
There's a science to this.
All right.
I make coaches more interesting and give them the guidance to be comfortable and intriguing in their answers to you boring and obvious questions.
All right.
I've taken my high school equivalency and applied it directly to these coaches' press conferences. They come to me by my 1-month speech camp and learn the ropes on how to speak properly and clearly. I will give you an example.
All
right, let's just pretend I'm a head coach and you guys are the press. All right, go on. You go ask me anything as long as it's on that list that I provided you.
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, what are your feelings about being in the first poll of the top 4 for the college football playoffs?
That's a good question.
Sponsored material like that.
That's the old Nate Oates.
Yeah, that's right.
We got.
That's a good bottled water, by the way.
We got. I don't really listen to that noise. We got Chattanooga State, Chapel Hill this weekend. We've been focusing on them. These polls don't mean anything to me. They never have. It's just people saying what's now. We're talking about what we are now and then. And they got a Chattanooga State, Chapel Hill has a linebacker that had 2 tackles for loss last week. We're focusing on him. They have a quarterback that's a 2-year starter. He's a fantastic quarterback. We're worried about him. He could go to the minors. We don't know yet. And if you noticed their game last week, they didn't take one single timeout. So you know that their team is conditioned and they know how to play football. So that's what I'm focused on right now.
Wow.
So I got one for you.
Next, in the back.
Yep.
This is always controversial, but what would your report card be for overall officiating this season?
This is the Josh Heupel.
Yes.
You don't have enough chins.
What's your next question?
Is that long enough? Hey, well, I'll do this. What is your response to players and coaches from opposing teams saying your team is overrated and due for a loss, Coach?
I get these questions all the time.
Is the sip the crutch?
No, the underrated part is how you can hear him swallow into the microphone. So good.
Oh, he can hear it. That's why he's doubling down on that.
I know. Every coach does it.
Listen, I can't stress this enough. I don't pay attention to this outside world. You guys are so focused on what teams and other coaches are saying. I'm just focusing on this moment. So I'm going to give you a rundown. A driver picks me up at my house in the morning. He blindfolds me. He puts me in the car, and we drive to the campus. He takes me out of the car, spins me around 4 times, and leads me to my office. That is where I do my job. I don't talk to people outside. I don't have outsiders coming in. I'll give you an example. I do have this one thing. My wife and I go to apple orchards and pick apples. The other week, we were picking. I was had my hands on a Golden Delicious, and this little boy in overalls came up and said, "Excuse me, sir." And I was like, "What do you need, son?" And he said, "Do you know they're talking shite about you and your ranking?" And I said, "I didn't know that." So that's the only thing I've heard. But of course, I've told my players and all that we are going to be focused on this week. Again, we're playing Chattanooga State, Chapel Hill, great team.
Yeah. You must have gave the script to NH3425 in the chat room as well, because he's got the same question I have on my script. How are you dealing with all the sign stealing allegations, Coach?
Well, we had a great week of practice. We had a hearty lasagna last night, and it seems to me
Hardball
with lasagna.
You ever done a chicken lasagna?
That we put beef in it.
Okay.
The thing with lasagna, I've been telling my team, we were at the table and we were talking about it, and I said, "There's just too many layers. Like, how many calories can you get? It's one big old noodle, and it's a layer of another noodle, and then beef and cheese, and another beef and cheese and sauce. And so then when they serve that, you're full. But then they offered dessert when they had that baked Alaska, when that guy came with the flame and everything. And that was really interesting to see. So I feel that I'm really happy at where we are right now. We watched a movie last night. We watched Five Nights at Freddy's, which is very scary, so very topical and everything. So I appreciate you guys coming out today, and that is how it is done.
Yes.
Wow.
That's great stuff right there.
Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
I recognize the Heupel. I recognize the Harbaugh there. We were Tyler from Spartanburg away from having the perfect segment there, as Rockstar teaches us how to deal with those questions as a college football coach. Really had a great time last night, Bud Light game night at the Battery in Homewood. We appreciate the folks who came out last night and scanned the QR code for the Alabama-Auburn tickets at the end of the year. We'll give those away next week and let you know who wins the drawing as we go to the Grocery Brew Pub right there in Homewood for the second time this year. Great showing there the first time. Look forward for you to come out. Big game happening next week in the NFL and in college football as we get closer and closer to rivalry weekend in the playoffs with our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family, all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Are you a fan of Twin Peaks too? Sign up for our e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Come join the fun.
It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day, your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Trash in just a second. Here's your Wayne's Pest Control trivia of the day. Second worst team other than the Cleveland Browns since 2003 in the NFL.
Second worst team since 2003 in the NFL. I would go the Detroit Lions.
It's got to be.
It is not. Since 2003, this team, in fact, since 2010, this team has changed coaches 9 times.
Is it the Bears?
Nope. Changed coaches this week.
Oh, it's the Raiders?
The Raiders. Second worst team.
The commitment to excellence.
Since 2003 is the freaking Raiders.
Well, that makes sense. I don't think they've won a playoff game. Help me out here.
2 playoff appearances, 0 wins since 2003.
John Gruden. John Gruden, the previous administration, right, was their last playoff win?
You know, sometimes you have bad owners, and Al Davis was a good owner until he went crazy, and I don't think his son, Mark, is a good owner.
Actually, I guess it was Bill Callahan, right? Didn't he replace Gruden and take him to the Super Bowl?
To the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was that might have been their last playoff wins. Yeah, I just don't know if Mark Davis knows what he's doing. Now, again, look, I mean, the whole firing of Gruden was all about, it wasn't about on-field performance, but Josh McDaniels was a bad hire. I mean, you can't dodge that one. It was a bad hire.
It was a lazy hire.
It was a lazy hire. Now, Devontae Adams, who has been horribly unhappy, says he is so fired up about Antonio Pierce.
Right.
So we'll see if this sparks them. But now they're starting, they're not even starting Garoppolo anymore.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell's getting started.
Purdue's quarterback from last year.
Yeah, who couldn't light up the Big Ten network last year.
I know.
We'll see what he does for the Raiders this weekend. That question brought to you by our friends at Wayne's this holiday season. Give the gift of peace and security to your home and family with $50 off reoccurring Wayne's pest control services. Keep your celebrations joyful and free of unwanted critters this holiday and beyond. At Wayne's Pest Control, they don't just promise short-term fixes. They promise year-round protection for your home, keeping your family, children, and pets safe. Get that $50 off by calling Wayne's at 866-WAYNES-1, 866-WAYNES-1, or go to callwaynes.com. Happy 50th anniversary to our friends at Wayne's.
I know that we've brought this up multiple times, but, sometimes when you're in the heat and you know it's hot, but you don't know you're burning.
Yeah.
And like you see this with somebody on the beach who has taken a nap, they get up in the afternoon and you're like, holy shit, that dude is burnt.
Yep.
Somebody on the set needs to get some sunscreen for Pat McAfee.
I'm worried about McAfee because, again, it's cool outside, so you think, I can't get sunburn when it's cool. That's false in the South, my friend.
Yeah, and they're going to ruin his Tuscaloosa weekend because he's a guy that likes to go deep, and that sunburn.
I'll text somebody over here now, see if I can get Max and...
Yeah, get him get him a tent, get him something, man. He is going to roast out there in the sun.
Now, I know he likes his sun, though. Like, I never see him really white.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does like a self-tanner.
Yeah.
But maybe he enjoys this.
Hey,
but he is burning.
So did you see who the guest picker is tomorrow? They always struggle with this in Tuscaloosa.
I don't know why.
Yeah, why do they struggle with it in
I
Tuscaloosa?
mean, give me the obvious ones.
I'll give you one that they've never used that they should use. And that is, oh my God, it just slipped my head.
Can't even remember his name.
No.
The obvious one is...
No, it's, oh my God, help me out. The Magic Mike.
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
To me,
he's a bigger name than Zendaya.
They just rolled through last week C.J. Stroud at Ohio State.
That is correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Just who's on a bye this week? There's an Alabama player.
Oh, there is.
on whoever's got a bye this week.
Well, you had Najee Harris played last night. That's the one you could have used because they had a Thursday night game. And Najee Harris
showed him leaping over that Notre Dame player.
Yeah. I don't know if these guys want to do it. I assume they do. C.J. Stroud.
I mean,
came in to do it. But if you missed it, it is one of my favorites, Nate Bargatze, who is a comedian. He's from Nashville, but he really has no connection to either one of these schools. Funny guy, but zero connection to either school.
Could have brought in Derrick Henry from last night, too.
That's right. He played last night, yeah.
It would have been good. Let's do trash. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Rockstar, hit the big button.
Now, extinctions, I don't have to tell you, have been part of the natural history of the world for millennia. And man-made extinctions have even happened before. I guess we hunted the dildo into extinction. But the dodo, rather. Forgive me. I'm having trouble with my words today.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every single step of the process. Visit their locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply, mortgageright.com/TNR, 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. I don't know what I would do in this situation, but boy, I would be pissed. Pissed. You guys tell me how you would react.
All right.
Okay.
Utah man infuriated, left in shambles after realizing he drank urine instead of what he thought was a milkshake that he ordered on Grubhub earlier this week. Now, here's how it went down. Caleb Wood said he decided to order some fries and a milkshake from Chick-fil-A off the Grubhub app. Knew something was up when he took a, quote, sip from the beverage. He claims it made him sick afterwards. When I started eating my meal upon delivery, I put a straw in the cup and that was delivered, took a sip, soon discovered the cup delivered to me was from Grubhub driver, was a warm cup of piss. Now,
Not even hot?
Yeah, just warm.
Look at that picture. Now, wouldn't you think that the styrofoam, you could feel the difference
Yeah, I don't
between a
believe
milkshake
this
and that?
story. I do not believe this story,
Well,
Lance.
I didn't either until I got to the back. Listen to this.
And by the way, there's a little, when I'm putting my straw in my milkshake, there's a little give and take.
That's right. And the milkshake kind of pops up through there. I don't believe this.
Now, Wood said he immediately called the driver back to the house, let him have it on the phone for basically poisoning him with a cup of piss. Footage from Wood's home security camera shows the moment the Grubhub driver returns to the home, comes face to face with him. Quote, did you confuse the cups? Because, like, dude, it's half full of pee. Woods calmly goes, and did you realize it was P? The driver admitted he clocks long hours, relieves himself in the car because he really doesn't take bathroom breaks. Here's my theory on this.
All right,
speculation.
go. Yep.
Nope, I think it's an inside job. I think I would do a back check to see if this dude knows this driver, because this driver, what's he going to be at fault for? Grubhub is going to be falling on the sword with the lawsuit.
Yep.
So this dude doesn't give a shit about losing his Grubhub job. The other guy could be on the inside. They could get a 6-figure payday.
Yep.
Cut that thing up.
Yep.
I think that's what's
That's
happening.
Not a
100%.
dime if I'm on the jury. Not a dime.
100%.
That's right.
Now, Jim, can you ever be on a jury?
I cannot
Why?
because of religious regions. I don't judge people.
Oh, it's
Right there with you.
It's very interesting.
Mine's coming up in a
Except
couple
during
of
this
weeks.
segment every day.
Right.
They are going to be so disappointed with me.
You missed.
I did. 77-year-old man in Ohio arrested over the weekend after he allegedly beat a woman confined to a wheelchair, flung her to the floor, repeatedly kicked her in the ribs, and then strangled her out using a pool noodle.
Wait a minute. So this guy did this to a woman that was in a wheelchair?
Well, he dumped her out.
Huh?
He dumped her out.
Oh, we haven't sent anybody to the island in a long time.
You're going to have to sell me on not sending this guy to the island.
Let's let it play out.
All
Carl
right.
Chastain was taken into custody Monday, charged with 1 count of felonious assault, resulting in the victim being seriously harmed. Now, according to a report from NBC affiliate WCMH, officers with the Columbus Police Department on Saturday, October 28th, responded to a call, domestic violence incident. Upon arriving at the facility, police located the victim, who allegedly explained she had been assaulted by Chastain. Now, the nature of the relationship between the victim and Chastain was not immediately clear. Authorities say the victim was in her wheelchair inside of a home when she accidentally ran over his foot.
Justification.
No.
You feel bad now, Brown, don't you?
Accidentally, Rockstar ran over his
She
foot.
reportedly said that Chastain became enraged, obviously, grabbing her
All right, sounds like
wheelchair, flipped it over while the victim was still sitting in it, caused the victim to land on the floor. That's when he started kicking her in her ribs, reportedly grabbed a pool noodle and wrapped it around her neck, using it to strangle her. The victim said after being strangled, Chastain reportedly left her on the floor, walked away, leaving her completely immobile.
You've said nothing that gets this guy not on the island.
I mean, she did run his foot over.
That's what's justified.
Yes.
What would you have done? Said you
Yeah,
ran my
really.
foot over?
Get your foot out of the way.
I like the
tump
fact
him
that you
over.
got a handy pool noodle to strangle somebody. I mean, those are
I
laying
just
around the
slew
house.
of them.
I just love local news, by the way. Give me a mugshot. Do we have any stock photo of the pool noodles?
I'll get you some, Coach.
Yeah. Not the one with the same colors. Let's have multicolored pool
And
noodles.
make them all disarrayed.
Intertwined.
Yes.
It's amazing how well those things work.
Pool
Not necessarily
noodles?
to choke somebody out.
Well, yeah, I've never tried that.
Yeah.
Do you put one like through your armpits and under your feet and just kind of lay back?
Yeah, so those, because we're bigger,
Yeah.
like I think a small chick could float on just one, but
Yeah, I
you
have to have
need
two.
two.
Yeah.
You need one under, and then the life jacket is the best to use.
No. I do. I actually have it's usually a Bud Light, and I go like you're talking about, Brown. I have one
under the
behind me,
armpit, yep.
and then one between my legs, riding it like a horse, and I float in the lake.
Oh, I don't put it between my legs. I like prop my feet on it, so they're both laying crossways.
No, I
so
like
you
put it
sit on
between
one
the
like a
legs.
horse.
Yeah, I got one like a horse.
Interesting.
Ride a pool noodle, save a cowboy.
And that's the
Brown.
thing. I know Dunaway doesn't pee in pools,
That's correct. Do you pee in the lake?
I do pee in the lake.
but all these noodles have been pissed on because they're always between people's legs, and people
That's right.
don't get out of the lake. They pound Bud Light after Bud Light after Bud Light.
they piss in the
They
lake.
get out
Well,
at
pruned
least-
up.
At least it's not made of an absorbent material.
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah, you're sitting on someone's urine when you ride that
I'm
thing. I hope
okay
you
with
know.
that. I'm not drinking it like a milkshake.
You know, it's never bothered me because I know that people piss on the pool
Well,
noodle, and I
of
still
course.
use it.
I'm swimming in people's urine.
Okay, Rocky, get the bell ready. How many things are wrong with this story?
All right.
North Dakota woman fatally poisoned her boyfriend after learning about his plans to dump her because he had inherited $30 million just hours before, according to police.
Yeah. Cowboys fan. Anybody surprised?
It's a good-looking couple.
Now,
What's
Ina,
that thing? That thing a camera? Here we go. Smile.
They're a couple of brother and sister.
I mean, my
Yeah.
gosh. Hey, he's going to do great in the open market with this money.
well, I mean, he's going to do better than that with $30 million.
Oh, no, I know why she poisoned him. This was the last chance.
Ina Knorr, 47 years old, charged Monday, September 5th, with the September 5th murder of Stephen Riley, 51. A, quote, gruesome act that cops say was driven by financial motives. Now, they said, quote, case extremely complex. Riley became ill when he met with his attorney September 3rd to collect the massive inheritance sum Now, Knorr didn't call 911 until the next day when paramedics arrived to find Riley unresponsive. He died in the hospital the following day. She did wait it out, right?
The following day.
Being poisoned is painful.
You've heard that?
Oh, yeah.
From
For
who?
people that have survived.
How many people do you know have survived being poisoned?
I don't know anybody personally.
Oh, you just read. Okay.
Like these crime docs.
I don't know what it is. I keep shitting my britches. Oh, my stomach hurts.
What kind of poison did she use?
I just need the PIN number real quick.
No,
Dale, what's the
here's
PIN
what
number?
she used. This is bad. Autopsy determined he was killed after ingesting antifreeze.
Oh, my brother drank antifreeze. How
This
much did-
Gatorade tastes like
but
ass.
Your brother didn't get locked up for a day until she called the paramedics.
That's true. My parents called poison control, and they said, "How old is he?" And my dad said 16. They said 16 months. Like, no, he's 16 years old.
At least they
Like,
didn't
oh,
charge you.
fine, yeah.
My dog gets poisoned. To get advice on the poisoning, it's going to be $95. Push 1 if you're interested.
Push 2 if you want us to
So
pick up your dead
stupid.
dog.
if Ryan Brown, you should have hung up by now.
Now, the accused killer proclaimed her innocence in a series of nonsensical Facebook posts in the days leading up to her arrest, claiming that Riley had killed himself. Now, Knorr told investigators she planned to split Riley's astounding inheritance, which she estimated to be around $30 million with his son. I don't think his son's going to agree. Girlfriend's going to get half.
So she killed him, and then she goes on Facebook. Is like, "Hey, by the way, my husband committed suicide." That's what she did there.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things that I don't have
that
from
one
this,
out.
which I know, because she's claiming that she was entitled as a common law wife. I think in the state of Alabama, 10 years, you are a common law spouse. It doesn't say how long they were together.
I think, it doesn't say. I think that was her problem, that she knew that she wasn't going to get anything unless they were married.
Well, they have charged her with a AA felony murder, the most severe murder charge in North Dakota. I don't know if North Dakota's got the death penalty. They might be the one that still have the. I think it's Utah that's got the
guillotine?
firing squad.
No, firing squad?
Yeah, I don't know what North
I think
Dakota's
it is
got.
Utah.
North Dakota might be hang. I think somebody has still got the.
I'll look it up. North Dakota death penalty?
Yeah.
Wyoming is Grubhub milkshakes.
Okay, Rockstar just threw away the title to this. What are these last things I'm going through?
So New York City, in like what was the year 1996, they enlisted a number called 311 that you could call. That wasn't for. They were for like
semi-emergencies.
Semi-emergency, not like
so not 911, 311. You call these.
So
in
this
New
would be
York.
like my dog disappeared. And I need to,
you don't
or
call
is
it.
my-
It's not 911. Like it's not an emergency. Nobody died. There's nobody that's sick. This is like a. And they were
And these
inundated
are
with calls.
legitimate questions
These
for
are
some
legitimate
people. Here we
questions.
go. The first one: can you check to see if my boyfriend is married? This one came in 2009.
All right.
Well, I mean, it's good information to know, right?
It is. You would think you could figure that out on your
You
own.
could, but I mean, if law enforcement's involved, they're going to get to it quicker.
Another one: can I use Medicaid for my cat's surgery? 2009.
You can't do that, I don't think.
I don't think
Cannot,
so.
unless your cat is
Well,
like
thank you for the answer.
Yes.
a nickname for your spouse.
Yeah, old cat.
This one came in 2013. Is there a law limiting how many times you can flush the toilet?
Is there?
There has been before, not a law, but there's been an ordinance.
It was a gallon per flush kind of thing. That's just how much water.
Well, I
goes
do
out.
not like those low flush toilets.
During a drought time. We had a drought one time really bad around here that they limited your toilet flushing.
Yeah, how they go enforce that, though?
They couldn't.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and tell you, I'm going to flush it as many times as I need to. That's the way we're going to roll.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys, when they have the water, whatever, during the summer, they're like, don't use your water between this
drought.
Yeah. Do you actually listen to that?
Lance, for the record, yes. Okay. I do. Oh, penalty is for that.
Here's another. This is weird. Weren't we talking about? No, we were talking about an opossum earlier.
Yeah.
This call in
I was talking about
2014.
possum. I don't know what you were talking about.
A possum.
A raccoon is eating lasagna on my porch. A raccoon will eat a diaper, right?
Oh, yeah, ain't no doubt. Lasagna's a high-end meal for a raccoon.
And then finally, this one. If a couple is divorced, can they still live in the same house but in a different room? 2019.
Oh, we've heard that being done. I know people that have done that, Rockstar.
But just let me call 311.
Yeah, I need to
we're
get
gonna settle
permission.
this tonight, by the way.
Yes.
No, 2020 caused a lot of divorces, but I heard of people like, we can't afford the divorce, so you go to that side of the house, I'm going to go to this side of the house. That'd be a tough way to live.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of conflict there, I would imagine. You know, you left the milk open again.
Does my side
You
of the
ran
house
my
have,
foot over with your wheelchair.
Does my side of the house have the sports room?
Well, you know,
no.
if you've seen War of the Roses,
No.
they're going to go for whatever you want.
That sports room, now my study.
I make candles in that room.
Yes, that's
That's
right.
where it becomes a problem. That's Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Buying a home, major milestone in life, getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Make the call today, 205-815-9200. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
All right, when we come back, we make our pick 3 picks for the week. You can still go to nextroundlive.com and play all the way up until kickoffs tomorrow at 11 Central Time. We're usually kicking out 40 to 50 winners. One time we went over 128 winners during 1 week. You got to be a perfect 3-0. 3-0, that gets a ball in the bucket. You can have multiple balls in the bucket, but one ball in the bucket gets you into the drawing at the end of the year for the grand prize. More balls in the bucket, better chance to win. Simple math, right? 2 balls better than 1 ball, 3 balls better than 1 ball. So keep trying to win if you've already got a ball in the bucket. 2 and 1's great, but it doesn't get a ball in the bucket. 3-0, nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. This hour brought to you by Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Perfect for your tailgates or watching the games at home. Stop by and see Sterling and the crew, champy'schicken.com.
The NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah and Ryan Brown. DJ Football Weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, equal housing lender.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from the next round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
We'll just call him Jeff from Alabama has sent a Twitter of a coach that is not very well liked in most of the SEC footprint. We'll see if Forrester can get it for us coming up in this segment before the show is done. Overtime is after us at 12 noon. Hang around and see what we have for you today. Talk of champions available for you there. and so much more if you go to Roll Tide Pods, War Damn Pods, and Disrupt the Media there on YouTube. Final segment before we get to our picks being brought to you by our friend Dr. B, the guy who brought back LT's hair.
Yeah, again, when we started this venture, I noticed I was thinning out a little bit in back, got preemptive, called up Dr. Beckenstein. That is the name everybody mentioned for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. T3hair.net for more information. You can call, schedule a consultation, 205-319-0316. And I just got it done last week, the Census Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. Beckenstein to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary as Dr. B can pinpoint the delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Call today, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
What do you hate most about the time change with daylight savings ending? It's golf for me.
4:30 sunset.
Yeah, I can't golf.
It's just like you run out of day.
Yeah, it's like for the first good month, it's like 8 o'clock at night, and I feel like it's midnight because it's been dark so freaking long. I hate that. 4:30 sunset.
It's dark at halftime of the Sunday 3 o'clock games.
Yeah.
See, that's the one thing I like.
Why?
I don't know. There's something about when it would be dark here and at the L.A. Coliseum, now SoFi, or in Oakland or something like that, the West Coast games, you would be bright blue sunshine and everybody be in short sleeves and it'd be cold and dark here. I was like, that's pretty cool. California, a land of enchantment. For a kid in a trailer park, that was a big deal.
Daddy, we're going to live out there someday.
I really wanted to.
Son, you keep working hard and pay them taxes. Daddy, I want to live in California. Did you ever tell your old man that?
We have it yet? Do you have it? Okay, here we go. One of the least liked coaches.
Oh, no.
Eric Musselman is the...
Looks like a 70s marathoner.
That's it, LT.
It's Prefontaine.
Hit it. Let it play. This is him running in.
Let's go. All right. Track. What happens in track? Huh? What happens in track, Devo? Tell me something that happens in track. You run, right? Give me something else that happens in track. Can't jump the gun. All right, what else?
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. What else, Al? Do not look back. What do you got, T-Mark?
Can't stop running.
Can't stop running. So here's the deal. Tonight, right? It's like we are.
Oh, boy. How awkward is this?
So,
blow an ACL.
My head is going to be down. Tonight is our first step, right? First step tonight in track, right? And then when you run in track, do you look to the right? Do you look to the left? Do you look back? We're not doing any of that. We're running straight ahead, full speed, all the way through March.
No.
Everybody got it? All right, here we go. Bring it in.
No. Boy, Vince Lombardi's got nothing on Eric Musselman.
So Musselman, super cheesy, also apparently circumcised. And
Honey, I got an idea.
Well, buddy, those are some nut huggers. You didn't think so?
Yeah, they really are. He likes to show off the physique a little bit.
He does.
Doesn't he?
I tell you what, he ain't getting burned like Pat McAfee. That dude was white as a sheet.
But we used to name people by what they were in life. How his family name got Muscle Man out of that physique. I have no idea. He is not a muscle man at all.
He could be eating mussels.
It's crazy. All right, that's our cringy moment of the day. It's time for our Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3. Buffalo Wild Wings brings it to us every week. Rockstar, hit the song, man.
Pick 3, it's time for the pick 3. 3 for you and 3 for me, that equals a pick 3. Say goodbye to your family, it's time for the pick 3. Only time that I'm happy is when it's time for pick 3.
February Stars was waiting for him to tell people he lives in a van down by the river.
Okay, let's see the standings so far this year. Are we getting any better? All below 500.
I went 2-1, right? On blind picks.
I'm on a 1-2 roll right now.
Yeah. Y'all are tied though.
13 and 14 is the lead right now. Basically, what's the worst division? NFC South? We're the NFC South. Somebody's got to win the division.
I'm benching my quarterback like Scott's team did.
I will let you go last, Dunaway, just where I can
I'm going
get out
first.
of this funk. I'm going to get my second ball in the bucket because I'm going 3 brand names.
Okay, start us off last place.
I got Utah bouncing back. The Utes minus the 11.5. They are going to bounce back in a big way.
Loser.
What are you talking about? You're 500. I got Rockstar MIZ.
KEY.
That is not how it goes. M-I-Z.
Oh, K-E-Y.
All right, dummy. Z-O-U.
Z-O-U.
Minus 15.5. They're going to win. Plus 15.5. Oh, boy. I don't want to get that. Plus 15.5. They're going to win this thing outright. And then Iowa State minus the 3.5 against Kansas. Back-to-back losses for the Kansas coming off that win over Oklahoma.
I think you are
Iowa
perfect.
State minus 3.5.
You're perfect 0-3.
What do you know? You're 13-15. What are you
13-14.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought Dabo looked like an idiot, looked like a crybaby this week, but I think they come to play for their coach. I'm taking Clemson plus 3.5.
Right.
Notre Dame has forced 5+ turnovers in back-to-back games. I think Clemson will play clean football at home. It's an 11 o'clock, too. First time I've given an 11 o'clock out.
You're turning on these 11 o'clock games.
Well, I've got two 11 o'clocks for tomorrow at Lance'sLock.com.
See, I told you.
LSU. Did you realize that Jaden Daniels can become the first quarterback to beat Nick Saban in back-to-back years in his tenure in Tuscaloosa?
I heard that.
Also, LSU can become only the second team to beat Saban in Tuscaloosa since he's been in Tuscaloosa in back-to-back years. The other, obviously, Hugh Freeze and Ole Miss.
Who started the 2010 Alabama LSU game? No, wait a minute. Bama won 9, 10, 11. Yeah, the 11. So they changed from 10 to 11.
Who, Alabama?
No, LSU.
Oh, LSU.
Yeah.
The same guy who started the national championship guy.
Jefferson?
Yeah.
So he didn't start in 10. I'm going to go look that up.
I don't know why I'm seeing it over in the chat. People just hate the fact that I'm on LSU.
Well, they do, Lance. They're
hate,
Alabama fans.
No, they hate the fact that I picked LSU to win the national championship, which is not going to be correct.
Right, it's a terrible pick.
But I think it's a really good pick here. And then Georgia.
I think you also had Clemson in your Final Four.
No, I did not.
And I think you had Georgia going not unbeaten.
Yeah.
You didn't have Clemson in your Final Four?
No.
I think I did.
Georgia.
You are two different people.
Minus 15.5. Look, this is a team, they played one ranked team this year, 51-13 over Kentucky. When they see that ranked number, they wake up. I think the Dragon has awoken, and they will not be snuck up on by Missouri. I like Georgia a lot.
Just because Brownie started with this, and I'll start at the bottom like Drake and work my way up. Arizona State.
I mean, every other week you do that one.
Plus 11.5. Opposite of you. That's Utah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 11.5. I'll take Arizona State in that one. Wisconsin, coming off a hard-fought game against Ohio State, playing Indiana. Indiana did all they could to stay with Penn State, played great. They can't do that 2 weeks in a row. Give me Wisconsin, minus 9.5. And then I'm going to take Nebraska to win outright. They're a road favorite on the road in East Lansing against Michigan State. With the win, guess who's bowl eligible, boys?
Nebraska and our boy Matt Rule.
Matt Rule, friend
Good
of
for
the
Matt
show.
Rule.
Yeah.
Good for Matt Rule.
Ends up being bowl eligible this week on the road. Give me Nebraska. There's your 3-0. Look at that.
So there is a bit of an asterisk in the no quarterback has beaten Saban in back-to-back years. I think Jarrett Lee started the 2011, the game of the century for LSU, but Jordan Jefferson had more attempts, played more, I think, in that game, and he was the quarterback of record that beat the Crimson Tide the year before. So we probably need a bit of an asterisk. You don't know.
I don't know if that's correct. Is it correct?
That's 100% correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he played in 2010 and 2011. Now, Jarrett Lee, I think, started the 2011 game. So I don't know. It's a bit of an asterisk on that stat.
Don't you have to finish the game?
Well, I think Jordan Jefferson did finish the game.
I'll tell you who ain't finishing their game, and that's our man Pat McAfee. I think he's going to melt.
No, Dunaway, I think we may have saved him. Tell the story, Dan. We don't have to use names if you don't want to. I don't care.
Somebody who was listening to us in the training department in Tuscaloosa ran him some stuff over. Brown saw him spray it
No, he sprayed sunscreen on, and it was because somebody was listening to us over in Tuscaloosa and is like, we got to save this man's life, get him some sunscreen.
Listen, my grandmother dipped what was called snuff. It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. I don't think you can still buy snuff, but basically it was powdered tobacco.
Did she ever put that on like an insect bite?
A bee sting?
Absolutely. Yeah, it would help a bee sting.
And she'd spit it directly out of her mouth onto your arm.
Was she a good
or
shot?
leg. Oh, she was really
So
good.
she'd spit it on there, then she'd dig some out and rub it on?
That's exactly right. That's right.
So the spit was the binder. It made it stay on there.
How was her nail game?
I can't remember her nails, to be honest with you. She actually, I mean, you can take shots all you want. She welded ships during World War II.
So she didn't get sugared.
And saved us.
Jim, I mean, she kept our boys afloat during the Great World War.
Pour one out.
The Nazis
from Meemaw.
And the Japanese Navy, thanks to my
Thanks
grandmother.
to her ship welding.
Yeah, ship welder.
So you take all the shots you want.
And she dipped snuff. But she also always would tell us that if we noticed we were sunburned,
it's too late.
It's too late.
Yep.
You've been sunburned a long time.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
That's too late.
You get sunburned way before you know you're sunburned.
Did you ever get back to the room and you press your finger on that
100%.
and it's white, and it goes right back red?
No, you know when you nap too long and you wake up groggy, nap too long with a sunburn.
Oh, bad news.
And then you get in the shower.
Oh, God, that hurts.
Forrester finally giving us a little video evidence of what we're talking about. Here it is for those that are watching.
Dunaway needs morphine for a sunburn. You're using, what are you jacked up on right now for a hip?
Vicodin.
Yeah.
How's that Bud Light going down?
It's going good.
Drink good, don't it?
It drink good.
We do not recommend that unless you're a professional and have a driver.
Yeah, but you can see if you're watching us how red and dude is getting. I feel sorry for him because I have not been sunburned in a very long time.
But you know what he's done for me now? I will pack on the Johnston RV tomorrow sunscreen for everybody.
What's the weather tomorrow?
Well, I mean,
72 and sunny.
But that's what it is right now.
Yeah.
So temperature doesn't matter.
Big game weekend over there. LT's heading over there in their Johnston RV. A beautiful ride that you're having. And again, for those that are going to be tuning in, 9 a.m. we'll all be on the RV tomorrow with our kickoff show. Here's inside the Johnston RV, johnstonrvcenter.com. And then we'll do our show from in there. Then Brown and I will be kicked off the RV. On will come.
Not kicked off. And you'll be able to see. Everybody's dressing up as song girls, by the way. They've got all the uniforms. It's going to be pretty cool.
That is not true.
Oh, yeah. USC's got to have a presence on campus.
You know, like, that's...
What, is that blasphemy?
No, if you had told me back in the day, back when I was single, just for the record, if you'd said you get to go to the Playboy Mansion or hang out with the USC Song Girls, I would have chosen the Song Girls.
I'm kidding. They're not going to Song Girls.
Oh, I was about to say. There would be.
That was a thought on the fly. If it was Halloween, 1,000%.
You would rip that RV out of my dead cold hands if they were in a USC
Ralph,
Song
you ain't
Girls.
driving.
So
Get over, Ralph. I'm driving the bus now. But LT is going to have his ex-brother-in-law and 10 girls from California on the RV, and he'll be on our social media platforms.
Yeah.
He's taking over both Instagram and Twitter tomorrow.
Yeah, so we will, I'm sure, I asked Little T if she wanted to come on the trip. She tapped out and said, no, thank you. But yeah, I will, I'll tweet out. I'll put some stuff on Instagram. Should be a fun day. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to us at 9 a.m. showing up that Johnston RV.
And so we'll be doing that tomorrow. Some games really quick in our final 90 seconds that we did not get a ton of chances to talk about. You like Clemson. Any scare Ohio State Rutgers?
Not at all. That's a beat down.
There's just no offense. I mean, I give Greg Schiano a lot of credit. The offense, go back and look at what Michigan did to them. It'll be much the same with Ohio State.
6-2 right now, so it'll be a quality win with the playoff committee. Rutgers defense, top 10 in the country, but still no chance.
No chance.
In Rutgers, no chance.
In Rutgers.
I mean, Piscataway, I mean, the atmosphere will rival what you get tomorrow night in Bryant-Denny.
In Rutgers. You may as well sit in Green Bay.
Closer than the experts think, I think. Penn State, Maryland, as they play this one in College Park. 3 straight losses from Maryland to Ohio State, Illinois, and Northwestern.
Yeah, I don't think Maryland's very good, but Penn State's offense is in a little bit of a funk right now. They couldn't do anything against Ohio State, and then they struggled again against Indiana, and now you got to go on the road.
But Maryland doesn't have a good defense, and here's what I would say. So our man Brock Heward's going to be on the call for that Fox game. We've talked about Talia doesn't play well against good defenses. This is a good defense.
Yeah.
Florida State, Pitt. Will not happen. Same thing that happened to Louisville will not happen to Florida
Kenny Pickett
State.
ain't rolling out, is he?
Exactly. Oregon State, Colorado. Oregon State coming off the loss to Arizona. Colorado, Shedeur Sanders sacked 7 times, hit 17 times last week.
Did I see that?
Dion versus Jonathan Smith. This equals dick whipping.
Brett McMurphy reporting. Quality control analyst Pat Shurmur is taking over the play calling duties from Sean Lewis, the Colorado offensive coordinator, who some people through the first 3 or 4 weeks talking about getting a head coaching job out of this.
They were raving about him.
Yeah, now he's lost his play calling duties midseason. Pat Shurmur taking over, former NFL coach.
Jaden Ott for Cal, game time decision against Oregon. That'll be big to watch if you're at mybookie.ag. Thanks for being with us. Overtime comes up after this.
Talk of Champions. Is that right, Rockstar? Am I right about Talk of Champions?
Yes, sir, you are.
Tyler Watts, great breakdown of LSU and Talk of Champions. That's coming up. You don't have to change anything. That's our overtime today. Again, 9 a.m. Central tomorrow with our game day kickoff, post game after the Alabama LSU game. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway.
It's down to what I like to call a rivalry game. At least it has been since Nick Saban's been there. Rivalry week with LSU in town. This is Talk of Champions. He's Tyler Watts. Yeah, you ever consider LSU a rivalry game?
It was always one that you had to get through if you ever wanted a chance to go to Atlanta. It was a tough one. Look, Auburn, Mississippi State back in the day, not so much anymore. LSU, obviously, good programs, always difficult, challenging to find a way to beat them. And then the close games back and forth over the course of the years, that makes it a great rivalry. Not to mention the fact that Saban has coached at both of them.
Yeah, and you left off Tennessee where Alabama has a win earlier. We'll talk about LSU coming to town and all the stakes in this game and how one side of the ball could be better for Bama, one side of the ball could be better for LSU, all that coming up as we do Talk of Champions. Brought to you by this guy, the Watts Agency right here, Tyler Watts' main job.
The fun job, but I love doing this. Yeah, give us a call or go check us out on the website. That's the best way. We actually have the ability for you to do a quote right there online. It's TylerWattsInsurance.com. We have guys standing by right now. Listen, it's a tough time right now on the property side. Give us a call. We'll be able to help you out.
I would love for you guys in the chat room to comment on this. I had a chance for the first time this year during the Tennessee game to have the little stadium earpiece listen to the radio broadcast. And I say this as a guy who watched you grow up. Herman and I, your dad and I are friends. You're really good on the radio. You were fantastic at broadcasting that game. Fantastic job by you.
Podcasts have a little room for improvement, but the radio broadcast
this is different. But you were really good.
Well, I appreciate it.
On
Thank
the broadcast. Not that I went in with low expectations, but
that's always my fear.
I sort of did go in with low expectations, and you were fantastic.
Well,
you're doing a hell of a job, man.
Well, thank you.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, man. It's a ball. It's an absolute blast. I love doing this.
Yeah.
It's a great way for me to watch the ball game too.
You got a great seat.
I can't throw anything, and I got to be quiet so that Eli and Chris can have the call.
So you and Chris, and then Eli this week for the LSU game, and you and Chris up on the road in Lexington the next couple of weeks. But for LSU coming to town, you cannot talk about this football team without starting with their quarterback, Jaden Daniels. So let's start right there. What is one thing he does so well that scares you if you're a defensive player or coach at Alabama?
His ability to extend a play. You can have everything covered like a blanket in the secondary. You can have the perfect rush lanes up front with 3 or 4 guys. He finds a crease, and he's like a basketball guy. You know, we used to always talk about basketball guys had the best 1-2 step explosiveness to create separation, but their top end speed, they didn't have to have it, so it might not have been great like a football player's.
Right.
But he possesses both. He's got that up to top speed and immediately 1 or 2 steps, and then he's fast as well. So elusive, hard to really square him up. So his ability to extend plays has got to be the most frustrating thing for defensive coordinators.
As I went back and watched last year's game, I don't think they designed a single run for him in that game. It seemed like it was all out of the pass play that he decided to do it on his own.
And I think this year, though, you have seen more quarterback design run plays as they're trying to really take advantage of what the defense is giving, because they're giving some lead blocks up front, which is good. But they got to protect him. You know, this is a guy that doesn't like to get down at all. He's taken some shots over the course of the year, and when he gets banged up or gets bruised up, it kind of affects his play. So I know that Brian Kelly and that staff really wants to kind of take care of him, but you got to have him. Yeah. They have to have him to be successful offensively.
You know, I don't know how our viewers of Talk of Champions feel, but I feel like he's gotten better at throwing the football this year.
I would agree. And I think it's 2 parts. I think that he has continued to develop over the last season and a half as a passer. He's got some awfully good receivers who can create a ton of separation for him. And so it's kind of twofold. And he's very comfortable, a lot like what Joe Burrow was in this offense his second year around. Different coordinators I know at different coaching staffs, however, just that year of maturity of staying in the system, understanding, and really having the work ethic, putting it into it, it's paying dividends for him.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, outside of the 2 losses, is he not one of the most valuable players in college football right now?
Oh, he's on my. If they said Jim, Lance actually gets a vote, but if they said Jim, you're a Heisman voter, put down 3 names right now with 1 month to go. He's one of my 3 names I put down.
Should be.
He's that good, even with the 2 losses. Talking about Jaden Daniels of LSU, more on that and what they bring to Tuscaloosa this week. This is the Talk of Champions. Give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe as you watch us here. And also, go to mybookie.ag if you want to jump in and play the games in the month of November. There is a deposit bonus for you there and a lot of good stuff when you use the promo code NEXTROUND. The promo code is NEXTROUND, mybookie.ag to enjoy college football, the NFL, and basketball as the basketball season cranks up. You mentioned the receivers. They're tall. and they're fast, and they're physical. That's three things you want in a receiving core. How does that match up with some of Alabama's strengths on the corner with Kool-Aid and Terrion Arnold?
They kind of remind me a lot of what Texas brought to Tuscaloosa earlier in the season. You know, kind of a three-headed monster with the two really talented wide receivers and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, and then the talented tight end as well. What's his name? Mason Taylor. So those three guys can really put a ton of pressure. And they got some other fellas that come in as well and do a really nice job. But the bulk of their catches are there with Thomas and Neighbors. And it's a challenge because they'll cross the field, they get upfield, they'll come back, they create tons of separation. But I think we're better in the secondary than we were at the beginning of the season, obviously, with the communication and trading things off, matching up with different coverage packages. So hopefully we can blanket it and really challenge every throw, because that's going to be key. Muddy up the picture, make this offense really kind of hesitate in delivering the ball down the field, because they haven't faced a defense all season that I think is as good as Alabama is.
We talk about the corners a lot when we talk about great receivers, but when we go back to that Texas game, which you sort of have like offenses and receivers here, Caleb Downs, who's still a true freshman, but we're late in the year now, really early in the year back then.
Second game.
He bit on some eye candy on an under route, and they threw over the top of him for one of the big touchdowns. Maybe on both, but I know on the last one, the back-breaking touchdown, he sort of bit on something underneath, and they threw over the top of him. When you play a lot of football, you learn not to take the candy, right? He's a lot more mature now.
You know, yeah, he is. However, that's a tough ask for him, because with these receivers, if you don't drive on him catching the football, if he has a yard or two separation, these guys, they create a lot of yards after the catch. I mean, it's amazing to see how they advance the ball and pick up that yak yardage throughout the course of the season. I mean, it's every single game. They create separation, they catch the ball, they advance it 20, 30 yards. So you have to be aggressive and trying to be around him when he catches it. So you got to be disciplined and understand what's going on and know when they're going to take their home run shots because of your preparation and be able to react to it.
Sometimes it seems like this is the case in football, no matter who you're talking about. But you got receivers who are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and DBs who are 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1". Are these the kind of guys that even if the coverage is there, if Jade throws it high, that it's hard to knock this pass down? Is this a tough matchup, even if Alabama does everything right with these two receivers?
It could be, because they seem to win a lot of these 50-50 throws that are down the field, where it's just almost a tip, the jump ball type of scenario.
Did you like throwing that as a quarterback?
We didn't do it.
Yeah.
We didn't do it. This is a new phenomenon that came in on board kind of after I was done. I sure wish, we were always just beaten into us, don't turn the ball over, don't turn the ball over, don't turn the ball over. That's how the game was played back then.
If you threw a 50-50 ball, you got yelled at.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And now it's completely different. It's give them a chance. Give them a chance to make a play. If it's intercepted, so be it. Our guys expected to go up there and fight for it.
Yeah, that's interesting that the game has changed to where you're encouraged to throw a 50-50 ball that only one out of two is going to be caught.
It's really not 50-50, though. It's much more in the offense's favor when you take into account the pass interference that potentially could happen and all as well.
Okay, one thing that's different for this LSU team from when they lost to Florida State, because I think Alabama's the closest to Florida State that they've played since they lost to Florida State to start the season. We'll get to that after I tell you about our friends at Rowback.com. Great golf gear, great pants. We just got some pants in from our friends at Rowback. Wonderful. They can be business casual. They can be golfing pants, casual stuff to wear to the game. Just go to Rowback.com, Rowback.com. Promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your first order there, Rowback.com. LSU didn't have a running game when they lost to Florida State. I think Logan Diggs has changed that side of the ball for them. He looks to be a threat running the ball, reminding me a little bit of what LSU used to be. You had to stop their run and force him to throw. That's not the case anymore, but he's a legit running back. They found him a jewel there since that first game loss.
And they do a good job of getting favorable numbers in the box as well because of the threat that they have at the wide receiver position and with Jaden Daniels. So that gives them favorable looks. They're now able to take advantage of it, and it makes them much more balanced. You talked about Alabama being a lot like Florida State. Florida State did something that no other team has done this year. LSU is outscoring their opponents in the first half 196 to 107. They had 17 in the first half, I think, against Florida State. Alabama has to have that kind of success early on because we know that we're a slow team out the gate.
Right.
We got to keep this thing relatively low scoring in the first half.
But didn't Alabama do that to Texas? Didn't it stay low scoring there early on?
Yeah, it did. But I think this LSU team is more explosive than even Texas.
Yeah. But if you give me, 16-13 at the half in the Texas game? I think it was something like that. You give me 16-13 at the half against LSU, I think I would take that.
Make it a one-possession game, and I think everybody in the stands are happy.
Yeah, and just settle into the game. That's what scares me early on about this LSU team, is that they throw a couple of haymakers early on and puts Alabama playing from behind. Let's talk a little bit about Alabama, their side of the ball offensively, and LSU's defense. I heard a stat that, and I know in college the stats get skewed a little bit with sacks, and God knows Jalen Milroe's had a ton of them. But I heard somewhere he's rushing the ball 142 yards. That's all he has rushing on the season now. He's rushed for more than that, but because of the sacks, it's been taken off. A bye week has happened. It's a home. You can see the end of the regular season on the schedule, 4 more games to play. Do you think they start to work in planned runs a little bit more? Or is that just not something they want to do with Jalen Milroe? I mean, we talk about this every week. Is this the week that they make him a primary runner in the offense?
If you will listen to Coach Saban and some of his post-game comments, he talks about the fact that they have several quarterback runs, design runs, throughout the course of the game that are called, that they might be read options and things of that nature. But then we might check out on, we might get in something else, but we're not hitting on all of them like I think the coaching staff would like to. So I think they are kind of sprinkled in and mixed. But what you are is what you are. You're just trying to get better at it at this point. So it's not going to be a vastly different style of offensive play that Alabama runs this weekend, where Jalen Milroe is going to keep the ball 15 times, 10 times. That's not going to happen.
Right.
There may be 3 or 4 sprinkled in to try to take advantage of some things. But against this defense, you should be able to control the line of scrimmage. Everybody else has. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to up front as well.
And they've lost Mingo, one of their big NFL prospects, who will not play in the game on that defensive line. So that's a plus for Alabama. And Jace McClellan and all the other running backs, but Jace McClellan gets the biggest part of the carries. It seems like they're going to try to limit at least the number of possessions that Jaden Daniels will get in this game. Running the football is the best way to do that, right? Extended drives, 8-play, 9-play, 10-play, 11-play drives. That's fewer times that Daniels gets to be on the field for LSU. That's got to be part of the game plan, too, because Alabama's so comfortable when they run the ball.
You want to do whatever works, though. That's the key. So when you touch the ball, you're thinking, I got to score. I got to score. I got to find a way to score. And I don't care if I'm doing it through the air or if I'm doing it on the ground. This is an LSU defense, though, that you can push the ball down the field. And Alabama's had a lot of success. That's kind of who they've become. We're going to throw the ball deep, open you up, and then we're going to pound it down your throats eventually. Ole Miss was able to do that as well. Hit some big plays, control the line of scrimmage. Junkins went off on them there in the second half and really got them going. Whatever it takes, it doesn't really matter in these type of games.
Right.
You're not trying to say we're going to do X or we're going to do Y. It's we're going to do whatever it takes to get the ball down the field and put points on the board.
They do have 3 newcomers and then a guy who was sort of second string in their secondary, and that's where Florida State beat them in the second half. They decided we're going to test these LSU DBs, DBU, and they were not up to
lost.
They were not up to the LSU standard.
They were lost. They were confused, and even on the 50-50 balls throughout the course of the year against Missouri and Ole Miss and some other ones, they didn't come down with it. Alabama has to be able to take advantage of that. Zy Alexander, Denver Harris, and Deuce Chestnut, all guys that have played in the secondary, they're out. So that's what you're talking about. So what does it look like for LSU? You don't really care. You just have to play your game if you're Alabama and go out there and make it happen.
Well, it sounds to me like, they saw, the coaches did, when they were playing in College Station, that there was a matchup that with Alabama's receiver on a certain DB, they wanted to take advantage of that. We could see that situation sort of fester up again this weekend. Fester is a bad word. Fester is a bad word. I don't know why.
You got to hold up. You got to hold up up front first and allow the time, because we've all seen when the receivers have the ability to run deeper routes and we protect up front. Jalen Milroe throws a really nice deep ball, but we have to be able to hold up front. And there's a couple things LSU can do, taking advantage of our tackles. If they're willing to, that could give us some problems. But the key to all of it is to be balanced and not allow LSU to know when you're going to take those shots, because you want to play them back on their heels.
Harold Perkins is the guy. Did you have one?
He's the guy.
Did you have one back in the day when you would play a certain team that when you break the huddle, you'd look and try to find where he was? Because Harold Perkins would be that guy. If you were playing in this game Saturday, you would try to find out where Harold Perkins was.
Tennessee always had those dudes, but there was too many of them to count, so you had to worry about everywhere. LSU played against Spears and a couple of really good Falk and some other guys down there at LSU at the time. Look, everybody has good players. You want to know where they are, but key to Alabama right now is just understanding, is there any one of them, though, that gives us a really problem if they're isolated? Because we need to address that. If we get isolated on the edge and it's an obvious passing situation, they got to be able to account for that and make some sort of adjustment to allow protection.
Okay, walk me through this for you. So this is the center, right? So I'm Milroe. I'm standing back by the center. I look on the left side. We know that Caden is a work in progress, but he's getting better every week. And Harold Perkins is over there. What do you do as a quarterback?
You either slide the protection, give him a little bit of help. Maybe the running back comes over and chips to make sure that he's staying in and helping out as well. You call something that gets rid of the football quickly. You eliminate his ability to get to you because of the timing of the pass. There's a couple of different things that you can do. The biggest thing, though, for Caden Proctor is he's just got to play within himself and make sure that he holds on to that dude from the get-go. Because if he starts backpedaling and has both the inside and the outside move, never played offensive line in my life, or when I did, we still use flippers. But if you leave the inside and the outside open, man, if he's out there, he's going to eat you up.
We had Barry Jones on our show. You can still go watch it at the Next Round YouTube channel, wherever you get the podcast. And he played multiple positions. And he said there's no offensive line position like left tackle. You're on an island. And he also said, people talk about quarterback being a confidence position. He says he feels the same way about left tackle, that you've got to believe you're going to be able to block anybody to block anybody. If you get out there and you don't have any confidence, they will get past you quickly. And he said, I just thought I could. He goes, I was slower than what Caden is at this point, and I was a veteran, and I was slower when I played that position. I just had the confidence, because I'd done it at other positions, that I was going to make the block. But it's impossible to instill confidence in somebody. He says, I don't know how you do it. And
Success.
I would assume you don't know how you do it. You got to be able to have success in the game.
You either have to be the most arrogant person who really stinks but still thinks you're something else. And if that's the case, you're not getting on the field.
Right.
Or you have to go out there and actually do it in practice and build up that confidence because you've done it over and over and over against quality opponents. You put Dallas Turner out there, if he wins 50% of those matchups, 60, 70% eventually, that starts to build confidence because you know you're going against a future NFL guy. That bleeds over onto Saturdays. He's not there yet because every time he's looked around early in the year, his quarterback's been picking himself up off the ground because of his guy.
Okay, let's talk about the meaning of this game after you tell us about the Watts Agency again.
Yeah, we're full-service insurance agency, independent, so we shop the market for you. You're not beholden to any one particular company. Give us a call at 205-822-5477 or check us out on the website at tylerwattsinsurance.com.
This is not breaking news. Alabama fans, you know it so well. I mean, the season, when it comes to Alabama terms, what we think a season should be, comes down to this game right now.
The winner of this ball game is going to go to Atlanta, period. Right. That's how I see this thing playing out. So the players are going to handle this obviously a lot better than the fans do. We're going to be all worked up and anxious to begin with. Players are just going to play their game and understanding that things can go back and forth. Take a look at the LSU-Ole Miss game, for instance. LSU is in control of that ball game with 5 minutes to go, up by 9 points or something like that. Ole Miss scores. Changes everything. They score again. They hold them. They score again. Now all of a sudden, with 20-something seconds, LSU's got to drive the length of the field, and they do it. And that's another thing that's really concerning is how quickly this LSU offense, though, can get up and down the field because they've done it over and over and over against Arkansas, against Missouri, against Ole Miss. They can drive the length of the field in 2 or 3 plays because of how explosive they are at the wide receiver position and this quarterback.
Yeah, so much at stake. Alabama, I'm not saying anything you guys don't know. They have not played a complete game yet.
No.
They haven't played 60 minutes
And that's
yet.
what's exciting about it is you know that potential is still in them to be much better than what they currently are.
Yeah, if they somehow could take that last 30 minutes against Tennessee and turn it into 60 on Saturday.
Jim, just give me 45 minutes right now. Let's start with 45 minutes, and then we'll go up to 50 or 55 versus Georgia in the SEC championship and just get a little bit better.
Yeah, I like that. I don't want a 60. Give me 45. I'll take a 45-minute game. 3 good quarters. 3 good quarters. LSU coming to town. Like opponents, both teams barely beat Arkansas. Both teams easily beat Mississippi State. And then there's the Ole Miss game. where Alabama beat Ole Miss and held Ole Miss in check. LSU lost to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss scored a ton of points, 50-plus on them. So you can't really use like opponents. The matchups are different, but if Alabama plays their game, the path to victory is there.
You got to smother these guys. I mean, you really do. You've got to be solid up front on both sides and really eliminate their big play potential. That's where it all starts. And then open field tackling. Tackle them where they are. Don't let them advance the ball. If you're able to do that, you stand a really good chance. And not to mention points off of turnovers. LSU has a lot this year, points off the turnovers, and Lord knows we like to give up at least 10 sometimes at home.
Not this time, my man, not this time. Let's play it close to the vest. There's 20 good minutes getting you ready for, to this point, the game of the year, LSU and Alabama. Prime time under the lights. He'll be on the Crimson Tide Sports Network with Eli Gold on the call there. He's Tyler Watts, and this is the Talk of Champions.